Hey, what's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Jordan from Smallville, Batcat Shipper. This podcast is part of the Batman Universe Podcast Network, and you can help support the Batman Universe by heading over to patreon.com/the Batman Universe. We are on episode 156. My name is Tim, and joining me, as always, is Dane. Dane, we're back.
Finally. It's been a month. It's been a month of a lot of things going on.
That is for darn sure.
Yeah. And I don't know where to start.
Well, I guess we'll start to say why we didn't record an episode, or it's been a month since our last one, is because the weekend where we usually record our episodes, as you know, we do it every 2 weeks. I was out of town as I took a trip to go to my friend and fellow co-host from the Star Wars Saga Continues podcast, Kyle. His wedding was that weekend of May the 4th, Star Wars weekend, of course. So
I see. Well,
had to be the weekend where he got married.
Well, congratulations to Kyle. It's a big thing in life, right? I have to ask him. I'm bubbling over with excitement, right? How was the food?
The food was pretty good. It was Mediterranean food.
Mediterranean?
Wow. Yeah, and it's not the type of food I usually have too often. I don't think I've ever had it, actually, so it was a new type of a dish for me to eat, but it was really good. So
it was kind of thing where it's like, oh, I don't know if I'm going to try that, but I don't want to seem rude.
Exactly.
Sort of thing.
Yeah.
And then you ended up trying it, and it was good?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh,
so, like, either way, I could not eat it. I had to put it on my plate, especially when you're part of the bride of, or the grooms, one of the groomsmen. So. Oh,
right. And you were sitting in front of everybody, right?
Yeah.
Everybody can see you eat, Tim.
Yeah, we were like there at the head table, just Kyle and his wife Allison, and then we were at the next table right after it. So we were like dead center where everyone could see. Right in front of the dance floor too. So
Are you a good eater, or are you a bad eater where it's just like you're just shoving food in your mouth?
Well, I'll say I'm a picky eater. I've gotten better as I've gotten older, but as a kid I was a very picky eater.
Yeah.
Or like I pretty much, like, at some family gatherings I wouldn't like what was served, so I had to, like, one of my aunts would always have to take me to get McDonald's or something because I wouldn't eat and she would not allow me to go out on an empty stomach, so she would have to get me something. I feel bad about it now, being that picky and fussy, but I've definitely come a long way since then. But
yeah, no, I mean, especially since people took hours and hours to cook it for you, Tim.
Exactly. I know. Such a rude, snobby little kid.
Interesting choice in food, I'd say. Mediterranean. I don't think I've ever been to a Mediterranean restaurant or had that kind of food.
Yeah, I mean, I tried a few different dishes that weekend. The wedding was Mediterranean food, and then for the rehearsal dinner, there was Thai food, which I never had before. That was good as well. So, expanding my food horizons.
Beyond Taco Bell.
Yeah, beyond Taco Bell, Jack in the Box, Wendy's, all that normal fast food stuff.
I will say, Jack in the Box, their breakfast burritos are really good.
Really? I've never had their breakfast burritos. I had some of their breakfast sandwiches, but never a burrito.
Yeah, I had them the other day. I was going to work, and I was feeling hungry and didn't bring anything with me, so decided to go to Jack in the Box. I got a coffee, and then the lady asked me if I wanted to try their new breakfast burrito or whatever it is, and I tried it. It's really good.
I'll have to put that down as a place to try if I need to get a fast food breakfast place. I usually just go to McDonald's or Starbucks, because Starbucks actually has good breakfast sandwiches. Yeah,
but Starbucks, like, it's kind of expensive. I mean,
it is. I'm not going to argue with that.
Okay, no, because I thought it was just a me thing where it's
well, I can imagine it's more expensive for you.
Yeah, it's like Hawaii, expensive. So it's kind of expensive, and it's just one of those things that I just have to take a chance with, because it doesn't look very good. I mean, I'm not sure about your Starbucks, but they have like the display with the plastic.
Oh, okay. Like the sample
show.
Like,
yeah. And I'm like, I don't know if that looks good. So,
see, the ones I go to, or drive through Starbucks, and I see the pictures on the menu. Those always look good. So
Yeah,
that's how I tried it.
Oh, I see.
No, but yeah, so, after trying different foods I'd never had before, so that everything went well at the wedding. It was in Arizona, so me and my friend Paul drove up there. And then the one thing I was nervous about, like being in the wedding party, because this is the first time I was a groomsman in any wedding party. It's like, I gotta make sure I don't trip walking down the aisle or walking down the stage. But then, like, the thing I was worried about the most was, like, the day before I found out, how, like, the wedding party enters the reception, like the DJ announces the bride and groom, and then the bridesmaids and the groomsmen. So they told us, okay, they're going to send you a name, but you're going to have to, like, dance to the dance floor. Like, you're like, oh no, I am by no means a dancer. I hate dancing. I don't know how to dance. I think I look foolish doing it. So like, so I just had to choke it up, and I don't even know what I did. I just moved my arms on something.
You should have did a break dance, Tim.
Yeah,
that's what you should have came out as.
Oh man, yeah. It's like, because I know Kyle had videographers film his wedding and all. If he posts that stuff on like social media or anything on Facebook, I'm not going to watch myself dancing.
Oh, please, Kyle, please, can you do that for me? Can you send that to me, Kyle, please? Just the part with Tim. I just have to see that as a thing that you know how like people want to go see, I don't know, the Great Pyramids, right? Yeah. People want to go see, Big Ben over in England. I want to see Tim dance.
Well, I will tell you, it's a rare sight to behold because I rarely do it. But now there's evidence of it, so yeah, I'm screwed.
Yeah.
But other than that, everything went well. It was a nice wedding. It was great to hang out with Kyle and my friend Paul all together there, so it was a lot of fun.
Did he do the bachelor party and everything?
Yeah. There was a place in Arizona. I forget the name of it. But it was kind of like sort of like a Dave and Buster's type thing. But there was like bowling and laser tag. My first time doing laser tag, which was pretty fun. So that was the bachelor party the day before, or 2 days before the wedding. So that's like when we got there in Arizona, we got to get to rent my tux, and then went straight to the bachelor party. So it was a long day, that long drive up, and then just doing the bachelor party.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. You drove. You drove there.
Mm-hmm. Like, it wasn't too bad actually. I mean, it was about 5 to 6 hours to get there, but it went by pretty fast.
You see, that's what I don't get about you, people on the mainland. Like, how can you drive? I mean, the only experience I have with it is we went to South Carolina, and then we drove from Columbia, South Carolina to Charleston, South Carolina. How do you drive in a straight line so for so long? That's what I don't understand.
Yeah, you're right. It was pretty much from California to Arizona. It's just a straight line.
Yeah.
That you go there, but
how do you not?
I prefer just a straight drive. You don't have to worry about weird turns or curves or different freeways you got to take to get there. As long as it's like a straight drive, I think that makes it more better for me anyway.
Yeah, but how do you not fall asleep or
That's where music comes in. And thankfully, like I said, I drove up there with my friend Paul, who chatted away, so talking to each other helped not only keep me awake but make the time fly by too. So it was a mixture of things that made it not seem as long.
Oh, so he lives by you then?
He lives in Seattle, so he actually flew down to California, then we drove from here to there.
Why don't you just fly to Arizona?
It's actually cheaper to come over here. So.
Oh, right. That's just like a 20-minute flight, right?
He loves doing road trips too, so it all worked out good. So,
well, that's good, Tim. At least you made it there fine. You made it back. You embarrassed yourself in front of Kyle's family and friends, and his wife now's family and friends.
Everybody knows how bad of a dancer I am. Yes.
Kyle, please send that to me. Please, if you're listening to this, please send it to me.
Yeah, I'm not going to mention anything to him about that. Like,
I'm gonna email the show, Tim. I'm gonna email, the show. I'm gonna tweet at the show just so that he'll see it and be like, oh, okay.
Time to change our Twitter handle, our email address, our website, everything. So you won't know where to send it.
But that's good, Tim. Happy to hear that. You drove down, had a nice drive, had some good food, Mediterranean Thai.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a nice change of pace because I rarely travel to do anything. So I made for next week.
Is Mediterranean food like seafood?
No, not really.
Yeah.
There was some pasta to it too, so it was maybe a little bit
really?
Italian. Yeah. But that's what I was up to that weekend. But Dane, the one thing I've been dying to talk to you about was, as everyone who listened to our last episode knew how it ended in grand fashion with the introducing you to the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of Their Shadows concert tour and how blown away you were. But then I come to find it sparked a TMNT, revolution with you with watching movies, the TV shows, and you're becoming a TMNT fan, and I could not be happier. So I'm dying to hear how it all started and
it's unbelievable
where you're at with it.
It's unbelievable, Tim, because that Saturday we had rented The Post, the Steven Spielberg, Tom Hanks, Meryl Streep movie, right?
Yeah.
So, I was thinking, you know what? After I do the podcast, we can go and watch the Post, right? But then you mentioned Secret of the Ooze, right? And I was like, you know what? I'll just rent Secret of the Ooze. So I rented it on YouTube, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna watch that later. And we watched The Post, and I'm like, the whole time, the Post is a good movie. It's a good movie, but the whole time I was thinking about The Secret of the Ooze and Vanilla Ice and the Ninja Turtles dancing, right? And I couldn't stop thinking about it. So as soon as The Post ended, I went on YouTube and I watched it, and it was amazingly bad. It was so awful that I had to, Tim, watch the third one. So I watched that one. That one is terrible.
Yeah. I can enjoy Secret of the Ooze, even though I know there's a lot of cheesy moments and stuff. But the third one, I rarely even watch that one.
My favorite part of the Secret of the Ooze is when in this day and age, with all of these superhero movies and all of these superhero movies that are being introduced to mass audiences, all these superheroes, how they do the cool entrance that started with Batman Begins, where there's that warehouse fight, and you barely see Batman, and it looks cool, it's lit cool, it's shot cool, right? Mm-hmm. I like how they just walk in from the street. It's like they walk in from the street and they go down like a stairs to a strip mall. It looks like
they do their jump entrance and it freezes the frame.
Yeah,
the title logo. Yeah,
you can clearly tell there's a trampoline underneath the camera frame there. It's so awesomely bad that you just have to watch it. I initially thought that Vanilla Ice was supposed to have a bigger role. But he's just in there. He's just in there, and he sings his song or raps his song or whatever, does his dance moves, and then he's quickly out because apparently he does concerts next to what looks like a scrapyard.
Yeah,
apparently there's a nightclub next to a scrapyard in New York City. Not New York City, New York, right? It's New York City Paramount Lot, right? Because they do nothing to make it seem like it's New York besides have taxi cabs, right? And another thing I noticed about all three movies, because I watched all three movies that day, is that they all have the same New York City establishing shot in all three of them.
Interesting.
just from just from like slightly different angles. Like we're in the same parking lot overlooking the Hudson Bay, but we're moving the camera that way 15 feet. So it's the same shot over and over and over again in all three of those early Turtles movies. Also, the first one, I think that's the only one I haven't mentioned yet. The first one, the funniest scene I've ever seen in cinema, in every single movie that I've ever seen.
Wow, I'm dying to find out what this is.
Is Splinter as a rat, not as a humanoid rat, as a rat, okay, yeah. Doing karate. That is the most hilarious thing. It's like, did they think that looked cool? I mean,
well, for the time, I think they pulled it off as well as they could. But yeah, here's the thing on that. See, that's how it really was in the original comics for the Turtles. They nailed the origin story. They followed it just how it was. But it's not my favorite version of Splinter. I always like it where he was the human first. Like he is actually his master, Hamato Yoshi, and then he gets mutated and transformed into a rat, but he was originally human. I think that makes for a more compelling character and makes more sense that a rat being able to mimic his master's karate moves and then pass it down. I mean, you kind of roll with it, but it is one of the more far-fetched things of the TMNT lore that I'm glad they changed in other versions where Splinter was once a human. But yeah, but as far as capturing how it was in the comic, they actually did a pretty good job of that in the movie.
Yeah, that was fantastic. You can tell that's a puppet. Specifically that Splinter puppet, because they don't show him from the waist down, I don't think. And
there's maybe just a handful of shots where where you can see his legs. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but he's usually sitting on something, and you can tell that the puppeteer's behind him.
And it's the same guy who does the Elmo puppet.
Used to, Tim.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Going back to that first movie, I do think they did a good job with Jim Henson's Creature Shop did a really good job with
they're awesome.
The animatronics or whatever. They did a really good job. Second movie, it's passable. It wasn't. You see, I don't think they made it for home video because it's not a movie to pause. Because if you pause it anytime a turtle is talking, it doesn't look good because like their eyes are all like half shut and their mouth is in a weird position.
And there's one shot in the first movie, if you pause it, and I think it was Donatello with his mouth open, you can actually see the guy inside the costume.
Really?
Yeah.
Surprisingly, all three movies, and I was genuinely surprised about this, not a lot of product placement. It really shocked me. I thought there was going to be a lot more, like, the big pizza companies were going to get involved with, like Domino's or Pizza Hut or, I mean, there wasn't a Papa John's back then, but
just that Domino's Pizza Man in the very beginning.
Yeah,
that's pretty much the only big one.
Little Caesars. I mean, there's no Little Caesars.
It's funny, they went to Pizza Hut for the first movie to ask if they want to, do a promotional tie-in with it, but they didn't want to. They didn't think it was going to be lucrative for Pizza Hut. But then after they saw how big a hit it was, they came back, hey, so what are you doing for the sequel and all that stuff? They wanted to get involved.
Yeah, but it's a pizza box in the background, which really surprised me. I mean, I thought they would, you would see the box slide across the table, and then the turtles would be like, oh, what is this? Oh, the new Pizza Hut extra cheese pizza available now at all Pizza Hut locations is here. It's good, and it tastes good. I thought it was going to be something like that. So surprisingly not a lot of product placement. One product placement that did surprise me, Tim, and I don't know if you remember this, but Burger King. Burger King, for some reason, bought product placement.
Was it the third one?
In the first one.
The first one?
Yeah. When oh wait, was it the first? Which one was it? They're kind of in a warehouse. Yeah, it's the first one when Splinter gets captured, and there's that underground arcade thing, the skate ramp, and they're doing something. Yeah, it's there.
He's like a Burger King cup or burger wrappers or something.
No, it's a whole meal. Like it's a whole meal sitting on like a table that they like begin the shot with, which is really weird.
I don't think I've ever noticed that.
Yeah. So yeah, the third movie. That movie is just bad. It's awful.
Yep. And like you said, the costumes and the puppeteering got progressively worse with each movie, and it hit a low at the third one.
Oh yeah, especially the third one. Like, I think it's the eyes in the costume. It's just something. And
it just looks cheaper too.
Yeah, and it looks like they got the same material that they used to make the toys to make the animatronics. Did not really care about the time travel back to ancient Japan. Didn't really care about that. Don't know why Casey Jones was in ancient Japan. Didn't really make sense.
Did he go back? Because remember, didn't he stay to like hang out with those Japanese soldiers who got transported to New York, and he was like showing them around the town and all that stuff?
The actor I'm talking about, Elias Koteas. He was. I can't remember the connection. I wasn't really paying attention to that movie. But yeah, like the actor is there, and I think there's some kind of connection. Yeah, like I said, didn't care about the time travel story at all. In fact, didn't really care about the story at all in any of the movies. I just find them funny. They're awesomely bad, like I said.
I'll have to disagree with you on the first one in regards to that.
I mean, they have a karate rat, Tim. Not a humanoid karate rat. A karate rat.
I know, like I said, it's the one little thing that's a little too far-fetched, but everything else in there, it made for a very solid TMNT movie and with its story.
Yeah, I guess, but I don't know. Also, I wanted to ask you, two questions, really. How come they got two different actresses for April, and how come they didn't go with the Jim Henson Creature Shop in the third movie?
Yeah, well, in regards to April, I think I don't know if they did like a focus test or something, but they like did something where like the kids who saw it really didn't connect with the April in the first movie, so they wanted to recast with a different actress. So it was kind of a strange reason like that. And then for the Jim Henson puppets, I'm not sure if it was like a budget reason, but then I remember too that Jim Henson kind of wasn't happy with the amount of violence that was in the first one. So I don't know if that played into where they didn't, like the company didn't want to work on the sequel as well. But I think it had to do with budget as well, and just not having, wanting to spend that money on how good the puppets were in the first one and the animatronics and stuff. So I think it might have been a mixture too.
Oh, I see. Well, they definitely got worse in that third movie.
Well, I'm just glad you saw them, and then it didn't stop there though. I mean, you went down the turtle hole.
Oh yeah. So I ended up renting the 2014 Turtles movie, and then Out of the Shadows. The first Turtle movie, the 2014 one, is actually probably the best one, I'd say, out of all.
That was surprising to hear you say that, actually.
Yeah, I mean, the Turtles don't look good. I don't think they look good. I know they're just plainly ripping off the Dark Knight. I mean, really not even trying to hide it, but it's like they're ripping them off. I really like the beginning with the comic pages and the Fruit Ninja game. That was pretty cool. April O'Neil, Megan Fox. You see, I think Megan Fox is one of those actresses that didn't get a fair shake. I think she's a decent actress. It's just that she's put in these roles where she has to be, the love interest, or the sexy woman, sort of thing. And it's especially apparent in the second movie, where she has to get all sexy to con the delivery guy. But
it's those typical Michael Bay movie tropes that he always has.
She has to have the tight shirt and the short shorts, and it's not. I don't think she got a fair shake, and I think she's a decent actress. It's just she doesn't really have anything to do, even though the movie is kind of centered around that first movie is kind of centered around her.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that's part of the problem too, where you center a Ninja Turtles movie around April O'Neil, and you don't really give her anything to do, and you don't introduce the Turtles until like 35 minutes, I think.
Yeah, it takes a little bit to actually see them. I mean, you get like hints of them, like they're in the shadows and you hear their voices and stuff, but to actually see them, it takes a good 20 to a half hour.
Yeah, right. And I just don't think she got a fair shake in these movies, or the Transformers movies, or whatever else she's done. So I'm going to give her a pass on this one. But as for the movie itself, I really liked it. I mean, if you forget about the story, it's a good action movie, and I think that's what Michael Bay does really well, right? You just forget about the story, and then you get a great action movie. And you forget about the actors' performances, and you have a good action movie with a lot of action scenes, and that's essentially what that movie is. And I think they got the attitude, or the personalities of the Turtles right in that movie.
Yeah, they definitely did.
I don't think they got it so right. At least they didn't show it that much in the second movie. Again, they try to bog it down with story, and it just doesn't work. That's my problem with the second movie. It's all right. I mean, there's a lot to be happy about, but they just try to bog it down with story with Krang, and what he's trying to do, and they bring Shredder back for some reason.
Yeah, he was severely underused in that movie.
And gets frozen and put in the toy box.
Yeah,
it's and the voice of Krang, I expected something higher pitched, but it's a guy with a low voice trying to do a high pitched voice, and it doesn't work.
I forget the actor's name. It's the guy from
Brad.
Everybody Loves Raymond.
Yeah. He
does Lobo's voice in Justice League and Superman.
Yeah, what's his name? Brad. I forget, but again, they try to bog it down with story, and they don't really do a good job with that. And what suffers is the banter between the Ninja Turtles, right? And again, they just tried to add too much story into what should have just been an action movie, right? Casey Jones in that movie, Stephen Amell. I don't know what happened. I mean, it's like they don't use him. He might as well not even be in that movie, and it's like his performance isn't very good. I've seen him on Arrow, and he's great on Arrow. It's just he's just not he just wasn't good in that movie.
See, it was definitely a different take on Casey Jones than what's in the comics, the previous movies and all that. But I actually enjoyed this. It was different, but I still enjoyed his take on it. I thought he fit in it fairly well enough for me anyway. But it was just different. It was a different type of Casey I had to get used to. But I thought he worked well with the Turtles and all that in April. But
yeah,
I kind of know what you mean, though, where it's nothing phenomenal, but to me, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, what doesn't make any sense is he's a prison guard, and he wants to become a New York Police Department detective.
Something like that. Yeah.
So
he wants to move up in law enforcement.
So how is he going to make that jump? I mean, that's two different departments, right? I mean, that's not one. How are you going to get promoted to that?
Well, once he captures Rocksteady and Bebop, that's the ticket he needs.
I'm glad you brought that up, Tim. because I feel that Rocksteady and Bebop were what made that movie good, I'd say, because it seems like they're carrying the movie. It sounds really weird because these are two characters that should be background characters or lackeys or whatever, but to me, they're the ones carrying the entire story.
Well, I gotta say though, for this longtime Turtle fans and anyone who grew up with the original 1987 series, it was a big deal seeing them in live action for the first time, because I remember as kids we're all waiting for, like in Secret of the Ooze or Turtles 3, like when are they going to bring Rocksteady and Bebop in there, because they're after Shredder and Krang, they're the next big villains that the Turtles always face in the cartoon, and this everyone knows about. So the fact that we finally got him in a movie, it was, God, not gonna lie, it was pretty cool to see. I mean, they really captured, if anything, in the second movie, the feel of the 1987 series with the Turtles and with fighting Rocksteady and Bebop. Like, they really captured how it was, and it's kind of like the ridiculousness of those two characters and them going against the Turtles. So I think they did a really good job with those two.
And they actually look better than the Turtles, I'd say. Their design.
Well, certain shots of Rocksteady were kind of hit and miss for me, because I actually think, and regardless of what you feel about their designs, I think the CG on the Turtles in both of the movies were really good. Actually, where, I mean, for me anyway, they look pretty much seamless with the human actors. I mean, of course, you know it's CG, but it's not so off-putting that you know.
Oh yeah, I'm talking about the actual look of the design of the Turtles. Gotcha. I'm not talking about the technology behind it, where you can see the actors' faces. Mm-hmm. I thought that was really good. It's just the kind of the design of, I mean, especially Raphael. Like,
I know what you mean there. They should have just kept it simple, just how, you know, the Turtles always looked in, you know, their comics and the earlier movies and animated series. It's the simple turtle look with the different colored bandanas.
Yeah, and I have to say, I keep on going back and forth with it, because they tried it in the two Michael Bay movies, where it's unlike Batman, where you either like and love the 1966 Batman, where he's just a campy joke machine, right? Essentially.
Yeah.
Or you like this dark, deeper Batman that we see today, right? Whereas the Turtles, like, I'm not sure what I prefer more, because I love the Nickelodeon show. It's so good. It's made for just jokes. It's not made seriously. Well, they do. Go ahead.
I don't know how far you're on, but with the series, but what I love about it so much, and is one of my favorite incarnations with Turtles, is that it's the perfect balance of being silly with jokes, but also having, you know, some dramatic storytelling and the characterization. It's just the perfect balance of all that stuff. Yeah,
I was about to say they do add some darker elements to that show, but it's you know, it's fair and it's even. You know, it's fart jokes 1 second, and then you're dealing with this serious thing, you know.
So let me ask you, how far are you on the Nickelodeon series?
I just finished. I'm right at season 2.
Did you start season 2, or you're just...
No, not yet.
Okay, so did you finish season 1 then?
Yeah.
Okay. Man, wasn't that a great finale? That showdown with Splinter and Shredder.
Yeah. I was thinking Krang. Okay, Krang is gonna be the guy, right? Mm-hmm. But they just switch it up.
Yeah, and I'll just say there's more, because one of my favorite things about this show is the dynamic and the rivalry between Splinter and Shredder. Yeah. And how Karai fits into that mix of it. Just great storytelling there. It only gets better as the series goes along too.
Okay.
So,
yeah, good. Because, like, I mean, back to my original point, I'm not sure which one I prefer. Do I prefer the darker Turtles that, you know, are in the Michael Bay movies, or the
or even the original comics, because those are the darkest turtle versions of the Turtles ever.
Really?
Like those original 1984 Mirage Comics adaptations, yeah.
Wow, what happens?
No, like, they have no problems with, like, killing really? the first soldiers. They don't joke as much. They're just very serious in completing their missions.
Oh, wow. Yeah, like, I'm not sure which ones I prefer, because it's like two separate universes.
Yeah.
When it comes to it, because I mean, I guess a fair balance, like the Nickelodeon show. I guess I would have to go with that, which is, man, I'm so glad that I decided to watch the Nickelodeon show, because it's perfect. It's better than all five of the movies, I'd say.
Out of everything you decided to check out, the Ninja Turtles, that is the one I'm most glad you decided to watch, because, like I said, that is one of the best. And the fact that you're enjoying it as much as I did, it's just great to hear. So,
but I'd have to say the linchpin for me was the IDW comic.
Oh boy,
it's written so well. It's unbelievable. I mean, it's like, the Ninja Turtles are mainstream now. They're a mainstream comic. They're not a indie comic anymore, right? Mm-hmm. But they write it like an indie comic, and it's drawn like an indie comic, and it's. I mean, I know you have more experience with it, Tim, but like for me, that's perfect. It's near perfect.
It really is.
The IDW comic. I'm on the 6th volume of the IDW comic. And,
oh man, already the 6th volume.
Yeah,
not the 6th issue, 6th volume, right?
Yeah, 6th volume. It's Krang went back to his war, and the people come back. I can't remember their name.
The neutrinos.
Yeah, the fairies.
Yeah.
They come back to, or the elves.
Neutrinos is their name.
Yeah. They get their guy back, the doctor. That's where I'm at. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. The comic.
Wait till you get to. I don't think you got in there yet. The City Fall story arc. That is some great stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
How far away am I?
You should be pretty close. I think that's like the next big arc after they get back from the neutrinos and Krang battle. I'm pretty sure. There might be like a few filler issues mixed in there, but I think that's like the next big arc of City Fall.
Yeah.
But you nail it. I mean, between the Nick series and the IDW comics, I always have a hard time picking which one is my favorite version of the Turtles, because they're just. I think I might give the slight edge to IDW because it is obviously a little more serious take on them, not being designed as like a children or young kids still, like the Nick one is, even though they does some dark themes on there. But this one's more catered to the older Turtle fan, and they just do a great job of just encompassing almost everything that I love about the Turtles in that comic. It's just fantastic, and glad you decided to check it out. I remember telling you earlier, like a few years ago, how great it was, and you weren't on the Turtle bandwagon just yet.
I don't remember that, Tim. I tried to think back when you could have told me that, but I don't remember. But
better late than never. I'm glad you're experiencing these awesome stories.
Yeah, the comic, like we were saying before, it balances that jokiness with Michelangelo, and it's really, really dark. It's super, super dark. Which really surprised me. I haven't seen the Michael Bay movies yet. I just finished I went 2, 3, and 1. So Secret of the Ooze, the third movie, and then the first Ninja Turtles movie. And I'm thinking it's gonna be joking. It's gonna be about pizza, and it's like it's super. For one thing, it's super serious. And it's super dark. But with that being said, it's also joking. It's that perfect balance. It
still has the fun of the Turtles too.
Yeah, the fun of the Turtles. It's so well written. I mean, especially nowadays, because if you've listened to this podcast for any extended period of time, I haven't really been reading the comics, and one of the big reasons I'd say is I'm not really digging the no offense, Jordan, no offense, but I'm not really, I don't really care about the Bruce Wayne, Selena Kyle getting married thing, because I know it's not going to be permanent. I know it's not it's not going to have any long-lasting effect on the Batman universe. So it's kind of like, what's the point? And reading, I mean, with that mindset, it's a perfect introduction into the. I mean, it was the perfect timing to read this IDW Ninja Turtles comic, because it takes itself so seriously in a good way. I mean, you can take yourself really seriously in a bad way, but thankfully it's in a good way. It's super dark. Like I said, I didn't expect that. It's lighthearted in some places, and they cover some serious topics. You know, domestic abuse.
Got Casey Jones in the first issue, yeah.
Child abuse, you know, like all these sorts of things, like, and it's perfect. I mean, to me, it's like the perfect comic right now.
Yeah,
it's drawn really well.
Some of those early issues are so beautiful.
Yeah, it's not, you know, your super realistic Jim Lee style, which Turtles really shouldn't be. It's sort of like a more artsy indie sort of style, which I like. But yeah, like I can't stop singing the praises of the IDW comic, because they totally nailed it. The creative teams, the artists, the writers, everybody. It's if you haven't read it, definitely go out and read it, because it's perfect.
Yeah, it's pretty close to perfect. It might just be again, that's what I said. I go back and forth between the Nick Turtles and this one about my favorite versions, but this one is as close as you can get for a perfect adaptation. They take risks with the mythology, but it makes it work still. They do things different, but keeping, you know, honoring the legacy of the Turtles and what fans love about it, but doing new things and exploring new ideas with the franchise, and sometimes improving on old ideas that were established and just making it better. That's what's been so great to me about the IDW series, is just those things they've improved upon, and where you don't even think about as, you know, old school Turtle fans, and then when you read it, it's like, oh man, this makes such perfect sense to go this way with the story or these characters. I mean, I don't want to spoil too much for anyone who might want to check it out, but just how it starts, where not all of the Turtles start out together. I mean, the very first issues is, you know, some of the Turtles would splinter, and I won't say who, one of them separated. And I think that's such a brilliant way to start it off, and to have that bond with the Turtles, the four of them, grow in a new way where they didn't all start out together, and how they got separated was pretty interesting, and just how they all come together later on. It's just some great storytelling. So yeah, I echo everything Dane just said there, where it's a must read. Even if you're not the biggest Turtle fan, it's just great storytelling and great artwork in these comics. And I jumped on around 2012 because I had my Turtle renaissance back in 2012 when the Nick series premiered. Because I was an old school Turtle fan. I always liked the franchise, but I would never consider myself a hardcore Turtles fan like I do now, and like I always been for Batman and Star Wars. But once that Nick series Turtle started, I go, oh, it's a new Turtle series, I'm going to check it out. I just really enjoyed it, and that, you know, kicked off, you know, getting the comics and, you know, rewatching the movies, reading the older comics. Just, you know, everything you're going through right now, Dane, I went through back in 2012 and my Turtle renaissance, and it's here to stay now. So
yeah,
hopefully it will be the same for you.
I mean, just imagine, Tim, you watch the 3 first movies, right? And then you see Out of Their Shells.
That's the best part of all this, Dane. This all started because of the Out of the Shells concert. If that ridiculous concert did anything, it got a new Turtle fan out of you because of you bringing it up for the last episode.
Yeah, but you see those first 3 movies, and then you see Out of Their Shells, and they're playing instruments, and they're singing their songs, and
or in Shredder,
Shredder is rapping for some reason. And then you read the IDW comic and everything that goes on there, and then you read about Splinter's family and what happened to them, and it's like, oh my god, this is super dark. But yeah, it came at the perfect time, where it's like, I'm not really digging the Batman comics right now because I don't really like I'm not really entertained, I should say, by the storyline. And just reading this and how well written it is, it couldn't have come at a more perfect time, Tim.
That's awesome. So once you get caught up on the IDW comics, I mean, you know, the next thing you got to read is the Batman Turtles issues, because those are really good as well.
Yeah, I'm sure they are, because like the way IDW started off, and this is how they started their storyline off. You know, like I'm sure it progressed to greater things. And I mean, I'm only, like I said, I'm only on the 6th volume, but I like how they don't really fully explain how, you know, Splinter and all the turtles became a rat and turtles, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know if they explain it later, but for at least for right now, they only half explain it.
Yeah, they don't really go into it that much later on in any issues. I mean, you get some other stuff with Splinter's wife later on down the line, but nothing that goes more into, you know, their origin and how they got turned into the turtles.
Oh, so nothing like this is what happened.
Yeah,
definitively.
No, exactly. Yeah. Just what you got and read already.
Oh, okay. But yeah, oh man, Tim, the IDW comic is really the what made me so hyped on the Ninja Turtles.
Oh man, well, I could not be happier, Dane. I mean, obviously, you've heard many times how much I love the Turtles on this podcast. So the fact that you can join me now in the Turtle fandom is awesome.
Yeah, I just wish I read it from the beginning. I mean, it's great to, you know, binge read it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've been
I know what you mean.
But I wish I was there from the beginning.
I was a year late on it too, because I think they started in 2011. I started reading in 2012. I actually got my first iPad because of the comics.
Really?
Yeah. That was the part where I go, man, I'm getting a lot of, you know, DC Marvel books now, and I'm filling up room. If I'm going to get the Turtles, I'm probably going to go more digital, the digital route for them, and that's still how I'm getting them.
Oh, that's cool.
Yep. So weddings and turtles is what we've been up to since our last episode. Well, also too, we were talking about, I guess, staying on the ninja aspect of things, the Cobra Kai series. You said you watched the first episode. Have you watched any more of it?
Yeah, I finished it.
Okay, you did. Yeah, I should say I watched all 10 episodes in one sitting.
5 hours.
Yeah, just about. So it was actually the day I got back from the trip to Arizona. So after the 6-hour drive, 5 and 6 hours of Cobra Kai.
Wow.
I actually don't know how I stayed up to watch all of them, but that's how much I was entertained and enjoyed it. So.
Yeah, I was about to say, I'll tell you how, Tim, because it's actually really well written.
Yep.
Like the characterizations, but you did have a problem with it, Tim, and I'm wondering what it is, because it could be several things, and I think we should put out the spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Right, for Cobra Kai. So I have a couple of guesses.
Okay.
Is it the old guy coming back at the end?
No, that is not it. I actually thought that was a pretty cool tease, to be honest.
Okay, is it the fact that Johnny's sort of karate lessons have made his students into these bullies?
That is, it kind of goes into that. Not all of them, but one in particular.
Okay. Is it Daniel sort of trying to block Cobra Kai from entering into the competition?
No, that made for good conflict between Daniel and Johnny too, because I got why he would want to do that. I think it made sense, and it made for some good more conflict between those two. So it wasn't that.
Okay. So what was it?
So it was more toward the second one.
Okay.
I guess one of the main characters, the main students, Miguel Diaz, the first kid that Johnny takes to train. And he starts off as, the good kid who's getting bullied, but he's going to go to Johnny for karate lessons. It's a little similar to the Karate Kid original story. But the thing I don't like is at the very end, the last episode where, they're in the tournament and, he's taking more into like the Cobra Kai philosophy of fighting dirty and without honor. And I didn't like how his character progressed to go to that extreme, because especially when Johnny, as his sensei, was telling him, that's not, that's not honorable to do that. And he was kind of, even Johnny was going back on the full extreme of Cobra Kai and their teachings from the original Karate Kid movies. So, and just the fact that we see that he was a good kid, Diaz, he was doing things the right way, but then the whole thing when he starts thinking Daniel's daughter was, seeing Johnny's son, he was getting jealous, he's drinking and all that, and just turning him more into the bully. The reason I have a problem with that is we already got the bully character in the series, which Diaz, took out. Kid who kept tormenting him, and pretty much kicked off the whole series in the beginning when they had that fight. So we dealt with the bully character, and the fact that Diaz he didn't totally become him, but the fact that he's kind of going down more of that path and not fighting honorably in the last tournament is the thing I had a problem with. I think it would have been better if he was, taking to the Cobra Kai philosophy, but at the same time, not going to that extreme that Johnny was teaching, and to still fight honorably. I think it would have made for a more compelling fight, and not what in the final battle with him and Johnny's son, where he didn't play dirty, he just won, based on his skill, and not going back to the original Karate Kid where Johnny did the same thing to Daniel, and he still won. But I did like how Diaz and Cobra Kai did win the actual tournament, because I think it would have been too much of a rehash if they lost again and the Daniel student won. It would have been too much. Okay, yeah, they're trying to follow too much in the footsteps of the original. So I'm glad they did it where Miguel Diaz did win and Cobra Kai got the trophy. It's just, I think we're pushing him in this characterization direction I don't think they needed to go, especially when we already had the bully character in it. So that was my one main issue with it. But overall, they did a great job of continuing the story.
Yeah. Can I say something or try to give you an example?
No, yes. Try to, make me accept it better, or why it works.
Okay, well, this probably isn't going to change your mind, Tim, but I think why they did that was to show that what sort of Luke's whole idea was in The Last Jedi, where he refused to train Rey.
Okay.
And why did he refuse to train Rey?
Mm-hmm.
Well, why did he refuse to train?
Oh, you're asking me. Okay. Yeah. I thought you were asking a rhetorical question.
No.
Well, yeah. Obviously, he didn't want to see another Kylo Ren come to power, and just the Jedi way in general coming back. He wanted it to die.
Right. So this is what Cobra Kai is. What happens when Luke trains Rey? That's how I kind of see it. Where, Miguel starts off as, this kind of nerd guy. He doesn't know how to fight. He's good-hearted, but he gets this training from this guy who is a bully, who, has that bully mindset, and then he turns into a bully. Right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, even if Johnny sort of doesn't or realizes that his mistakes, or realizes that he taught them the wrong thing, I think it's too late already.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Not realizing the mistakes of his way of teaching, even though he is trying to rein it in a little bit from how he was taught. The philosophy is still there. Yeah. And the kids are taken to him. Well, that's a good point. I mean, there's still a time, like for season 2, for Miguel not to fully go on down the bully road and become an unlikable character. Because that's the thing. I don't want him to become an unlikable character when he was at the start of the series. So we'll see. But
you know what I thought was weird, though? You go on one date with a girl, 1 3-hour date or whatever, and then she's your girlfriend. You're calling her your girlfriend.
Sometimes you just hit it off really well, I guess. So. You just know there's nobody else for you. No, but the series in general was just a nice surprise of how really well done it was. And like I said, getting, Ralph Macchio back as Daniel, and then the actor who played Johnny, just a great continuation, better than anything any of the other sequels of the Karate Kid, like the next Karate Kid and the reboot with Jackie Chan and Will Smith. So this was definitely the best progression to do with the franchise. I'm glad it turned out as well as it did.
Did you see Will Smith is executive producer?
Yeah. I was surprised to see it. Like, yeah. I know, I was surprised to see it, but then when I realized, well, I guess I know why. Because he obviously probably had a producing credit, I would imagine, on the last one with his son and Jackie Chan.
Yeah. Did you see that one?
No, I never saw it. Didn't hear it was great.
Me neither. I tried to watch the Hilary Swank one.
I haven't heard good things about that one either.
Yeah, it's not very good. Pat Morita's in it, though.
Yeah, I guess he'd be the only reason to want to check it out, but I still haven't. So that's what we've been up to these last 2 weeks. So check out the Nickelodeon Ninja Turtle series, the Ninja Turtles comics, and Cobra Kai on YouTube Red if you haven't. All great stuff to, if you need stuff to keep you busy during the summer, those would be, I guess, our 3 highest recommendations.
Yeah. Oh, also, I was wondering what your ranking of the Ninja Turtles movies were. You said the first one is the best, but what are the other ones? Mine is the first 2014 Turtles movie, Out of the Shadows, and then 2, 1, 3. So Secret of the Ooze, the first movie, and then of course the third movie.
For me, obviously, the first one from 1990. Yeah. Then I'm actually going to go with Secret of the Ooze, and it might mainly be for nostalgia factor because I just have great memories.
It's not Vanilla Ice, Tim.
It's not the Vanilla Ice, but
it's not Go Turtles Go or whatever that song is called. The Turtle Rap.
Ninja Rap.
Ninja Rap. They dance in all 3 movies. I don't know if you noticed that.
No, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
They do the little dance in the first one, too, with the tequila song.
And they come out and dance. Your introduction to the Ninja Turtles in the third one is they're dancing.
Yep.
So it's all great.
Yeah, so those two, then I'd probably go with... I'll go with the 2007 movie. I don't think you've seen that one yet, right?
No.
The animated one? That one's really good. The overall story and the plot's not the best, but there's great character stuff, especially between Leonardo and Raphael, that I really enjoy. So I'd put that as my third.
Is that a CGI one, or is that a straight up? Oh, okay.
Yeah, CG animation.
All right.
So that'll be my third. Then I go with the 2014, then Out of the Shadows, and then Turtles 3 at the very bottom.
Oh, really?
Way below Out of the Shadows.
You didn't like Out of the Shadows?
No, I enjoyed it. It still wasn't the turtle movie I was hoping it would be, because for some of the reasons you said, they try to cram a little too much story in there. There was the stuff with the turtles, and like I said, the Rocksteady and Bebop was great, but then Shredder was really shoehorned in and not used well at all, especially like you mentioned. And then so stuff like that. There's a lot of stuff to try to cram in there, all didn't work, but there was definitely some good stuff in there though.
What they do right in the first 3 movies, and not Out of the Shadows, 2014 Ninja Turtles movie, is they're just in New York. It's like they're trying to just save the neighborhood. They're not... I guess the third Ninja Turtles movie is they're in ancient Japan, but they're not saving the universe, which is what I think Out of the Shadows did wrong. Because they should just be in New York City. They're synonymous with New York City already.
At the same time, there are stories where the turtles do get big like that, and they go to outer space and they deal with aliens. So there are stories to tell with that, but Out of the Shadows wasn't the best way to go about it. With how they incorporated Krang in there. Even though it was cool to see Krang, they did a good job with how he looked. But
I didn't like the robot.
The robot, wasn't quite. I think they changed it actually from some of the early trailers where he looked more how he did in the animated series, but then they kind of changed the design in the final movie. It didn't look awful to me, but didn't quite look as good as I think it did before.
I like the Krang in the animated series.
Yeah,
a lot better.
Yeah.
Especially how they talk.
Krang, he's the one who is our turtles, who look like turtles.
Who look like turtles, who have our Our blasters, the Krang's blaster.
And then you'll see, oh, you already saw it, Krang Prime, voiced by Roseanne, in the season finale, that big one. Yeah, you'll learn more about the Krang too later on, or they'll go into more of like their history too in the animated series. I think like season 3 or 4. So.
Yeah, I didn't know Nolan North, who did the Penguin.
Yep.
Also voiced the Krang in that show.
And Nolan North does the voice of Raphael in the 2007 CG animated movie.
Really?
Yep. So he definitely has his hands in a lot of Turtles versions. So.
Well, at least I know what I'm doing after we're done with this, Tim.
Yep. TMNT. It's just called TMNT.
Yeah.
I think it might still be on Netflix too.
Oh, really?
Yeah. At least a few months ago it was. So you know how Netflix kind of reshuffles things, but it was on there not too long ago.
Well, here, let me check. Oh yeah, I mean you continue doing the show, Tim. But...
Yeah. Yeah. So man, we're almost an hour into the episode and recapping everything that has gone on the last 2 weeks before we recorded this new episode. So time to get into some Batman news. But before we do, we got to get into our Dark Knight Rise minute by minute commentary. We can't let an episode go by without adding another minute to our long trek of doing an audio commentary for the Dark Knight Rises. So for this episode, we are on minute 104. Yep, 104 through 105. So let's see if I remember all the media formats since it's been a while since I had to say them all. So grab your VHS, your Laserdisc, your Betamax tape, your DVD player, your projector, your Blockbuster video certificate membership card, your Netflix physical media, and I think this is last, but definitely not least, unless I'm forgetting anything, your VHS to DVD converter for your PCs.
You did forget one, Tim.
Okay, which one was it?
My favorite, Tim. HD DVD.
There you go. Okay. I forgot Blu-ray too because we got 4K now. So little rusty, but so if you got all those queued up at the 1:04 or the hour and 44 minute mark, I will start the countdown and hit play. So 3, 2, 1, play. As Bruce Wayne has this real awkward face as we unpause it, as the pain of his back as he tries to get it back in shape.
Prison surgery.
Yeah. And now we're at the moment where Ra's al Ghul appears, and I remember being spoiled on this before seeing the movie. Were you, Dane?
What that Liam Neeson was? Yeah, I was spoiled on it. Also spoiled on the fact that they got a young Ra's too.
That's right. Yeah, we were talking about that on the last one. Yeah. But I think I found out about the young Ra's before we knew Liam Neeson would be back. But I was curious, how is he going to come back in what capacity? I got excited. I was like, oh, cool. He did survive. The Lazarus Pit exists. And I think we'll see a little bit before our minute's up as he starts fading away. I'm like, oh, no, I think they're going to make it a dream.
Actually works out better that way. That he's gone. And this is just a hallucination. Yeah.
But definitely for the story, it would have been too much to, we got Ra's to deal with too, and he's back. But from the, comic book fan side of me who wants Ra's to be immortal in the Lazarus Pit.
Plus two, you don't want to stack your villains like Spider-Man 3 or the second Amazing Spider-Man where you have like 8 different villains running around.
That is true. So... all right, so that's another minute of The Dark Knight Rises in the books, and now we can go into some, news topics that have happened since our last episode. We got quite a few, and a lot of them have to do with...
Tim, before we get into that, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Did you see the Venom trailer? I'm not so positive on it. And I think they're relying heavily. And I think the movie is going to rely heavily on Tom Hardy.
Mm-hmm.
It's all going to be Tom Hardy, and he's doing that crazy thing too, maybe. And Tom Hardy's a good actor. I mean, we've seen him in Dark Knight Rises, seen him in Inception, all of his other roles. So I'm not so positive on the look of Venom. It's so bumpy. Like, why is it bumpy? Shouldn't it be clean, like a flat surface, like Marvel versus Capcom?
Yeah, see, I think the look of Venom is right now the best thing going for it in his face
Really?
anyway. I thought they did a good job of capturing how he looks in the comics, a little more, definitely better than what they did in Spider-Man 3, but I'm not feeling the movie overall. I mean, the fact that it has nothing to do with Spider-Man or tied into Spider-Man is a big negative in my opinion, because that's a big part of what makes Venom and Eddie Brock such a fascinating character. Their hatred and history with Spider-Man and what makes them go as Venom, and the fact that that's not going to have anything to do with it. It's just, yeah, it's hard for me to accept right now. So I'm definitely still going to check it out, and hopefully I'll be proven wrong and that it's an enjoyable story and Venom's cool. But right now, I'm just not what I was hoping a Venom movie would be. So yeah, not feeling it right now as well.
Yeah. You see, I'm still holding out a little bit of hope, Tim, on the fact that Tom Hardy is a really good actor.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, yeah. I think it's a great casting choice for Eddie Brock. Mm-hmm.
Man, I saw this movie with Tom Hardy. It's literally just Tom Hardy in a car. Right?
Really? What's it called?
It's called Locke. Locke.
Okay.
It's about a guy named Locke, and he's driving. He's a construction contractor, I think. He's driving from one place in England to another place in England, and throughout the course of the movie, he's on the phone the whole time. And he leaves his family. He abandons his family. He is going to run off with his mistress, who's pregnant, and he's trying to get a construction deal. He gets fired from his job, and he's trying to still get the job done. So it's really good, character performance. And if he, like I said, he's a great actor, and I think this Venom movie is gonna have to depend on him because it doesn't look very good. I don't like the look of Venom. I don't know if it's like this in the comics where Eddie Brock talks to the symbiote.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's been yeah.
Oh, okay.
I am happy with that. I think that sounds cool, and like how they're referring to themselves as we. I mean, that's a big trademark of Venom, so at least they're getting that right.
Who's doing the voice of the symbiote?
I think it's actually Tom Hardy.
Oh, really?
I remember reading that. Yeah, he's doing both.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so it's definitely gonna have to rely on Tom Hardy a lot.
Yeah, so it's not the highest, like, out of all the superhero movies coming out this year, that one's not high on my most anticipated list, but I'm still going to check it out, and hopefully it's better than expected, because I love Venom as a character. He's my favorite Spider-Man villain. Yeah,
but Venom is just one of those characters that you have to, it's kind of like Spawn, right? It's 98% look, how it looks.
Yeah,
right?
So you're right.
It's going to have to be... It's going to have to be a Tom Hardy Oscar-nominated performance to be kind of good. But
I don't know if that's going to happen. One can hope.
Speaking of movies, Tim, I don't know if you've seen it. Did you see The Batman Ninja?
I haven't seen it yet, no.
Okay.
I've heard... Have you seen it?
Yes, I watched it, yeah. So without spoilers... the story isn't very good.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was curious to see, because I've heard mixed things on it. Some say it's phenomenal, amazing. Others say, man, this is a little too weird, and I don't know about it.
Yeah, it is weird. I see. I'm trying to think and not spoil it for you, Tim. This is really hard.
You can go into some details. To be honest, this is one of those movies I'm not overly concerned about spoilers, since it's, an Elseworld type movie. It's crazy in concept enough. So
a great thing to say about this movie is that it looks very good. That anime style matches Batman perfectly, particularly the Joker. I love.
He was the one I was a little concerned about how he looked visually, but he looked good.
Visually, it looked good. The voice wasn't very good. It's really, really high pitched.
Okay.
Yeah, really, really high pitched. To the point where it's like I'm gonna have to fast forward through this.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Harley was great. They You see, that's a spoiler. I can't say that. Let's just say the story kind of just goes on and on and on, and you're just waiting for a fight scene.
Okay.
Because the fight scenes are amazing.
I would hope for that at least. Yeah.
Yeah. They turn things up to 11. Let's say. It's crazy. So many things are going on. The Batman Joker fight at the end. That's not a spoiler, Tim. I don't think.
You mean the Batman and Joker have a confrontation? Oh, thanks a lot, Dane.
The Batman and Joker confrontation with the katanas was really cool. But my favorite part, and I don't think we'll ever see this in any single live action or animated movie, is the fact that for some reason the whole time machine thing, it also brought back the Batmobile, right?
Okay.
To ancient Japan. So it brought back the Batmobile. So Batman's driving the Batmobile, Joker is doing his thing, right? The Batmobile gets destroyed, right? Okay. So it turns into a motorcycle. We've seen that.
Yeah.
It also turns into the Batwing.
Okay. I don't think we've ever seen that before.
Oh no! Excuse me, I got the order wrong. It turns from the Batmobile to the Batwing to the motorcycle. And Tim, do you know what comes next? You'll never guess it.
Is it like a robotic horse or something? It's a third.
You're close, Tim. You're close. It's robotic.
Oh wait, a dragon?
Yeah, it's robotic armor. It's the bat suit, the Batmech suit. Yeah.
Oh man.
That's my favorite moment from.
How
movie.
big was Batman in that suit then? Like was
Pretty
it
big.
Really? Was it like the Iron Man Hulkbuster suit that he used to fight Hulk?
Yeah, it reminded me exactly of that.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's my favorite part of the movie. As for the story, it's not really there. It's just one of those things you just got to get through. Okay. Specifically with this movie, because the action scenes are so big, they're so out there, that when it comes to the story, a lot of these animated movies have that problem where it's just a big action scene, and they're doing the talking thing, and it's not really there, right? It's really bad in this movie, and that's my criticism of this movie. It's kind of the plot is going on and on and on, and one part of the plot doesn't really make sense to me. So, yeah, that's my only complaint about it. So yeah, but I'd probably give this out of 5. I'd probably give this a 2. A 2 out of 5.
Yeah, that's kind of on one of the ends of the spectrum I've been hearing about the movie. So it seems like watch it for the animation and the action, but just kind of don't be expecting some engaging story, I guess.
Yeah. Just don't expect it to be the IDW Ninja Turtles comic.
Okay, yeah. I definitely won't, but yeah, I still definitely want to check it out because I, like I said, heard so many different things on it. I wanted to see where I fall under it, but hopefully I'll watch it by the next time we record our next episode. And
I'm so surprised that I've seen a DC animated movie before you, Tim.
I know. That is a rarity.
Yeah.
I know, just shows how much was going on the last few weeks. But with that, I guess we can get into, like I mentioned, some of our news stories that have happened since our last episode. And the first one I'm going to bring up is one I'm really disappointed about. And that is, right now, most of the Rebirth books, at least the ones that I get, are still at the $2.99 price point, but some have gone up to $3.99. Well, pretty soon they're all going to be $3.99. And I think it's going to start in July, according to this article at Newsarama. And yeah, that was very disappointing because, so much for drawing the line at $2.99. I guess that catchphrase is done again.
Well, Tim, it was. You see, they can switch things up, and they can be like, "Oh, actually, that was just a 3-year promotion," right?
Yeah. See, the thing that gets me on it is that they're still doing the twice monthly books for like Batman, detective action, Superman, and I'm already planning to drop some books now because of it, because I'm not going to be able. It adds up. It really does. But it might just be $1 more when you're getting books twice a month. I mean, there's going to be some that I'm going to have to stop getting. Like right now, I stopped with Wonder Woman. I just finished the last arc on that, and it didn't end great, so I figured it'd be a right time to jump off. Flash, I'm going to have to jump off as well. And then, I mean, we're going to see how it's going to be back to one of those things where got to see how the story arcs go. I mean, with Batman and Detective, I mean,
yeah,
I hate to drop any of those two main Batman books. I'll definitely probably keep Detective till we get to 1000 because I want to have all the issues leading up to that. But if it starts really dipping, I might have to drop one of those books because, like I said, the $3.99 at twice monthly, it's, you know, it adds up. So it was definitely disappointing to hear. I was hoping it'd be okay, $3.99, but we're going to go back to like the once a month to make it easier to stick with the stories that we're telling. But no, so far, at least they change it. It's still going to be, you know, the twice monthly. So we'll have to see. But, you know, definitely disappointed to hear that they're going to that, because that was such a big, you know, selling point, I think, for getting into Rebirth and the twice monthly books. And this is actually kind of one of the first, like, big, I think anyway, missteps that DC has done with their comics since Rebirth, because they were just on a roll of just, you know, not only good stories but good marketing decisions to go along with it. And I think they're not going to be coming with digital codes either, because that was another thing. When certain books went up to $3.99, they came with the digital code to help, you know, balance out the extra price range. But I don't think that's going to be the case with all the books. So it's kind of one of their first missteps in a while, which is disappointing. But yeah, you know, those are the breaks, I guess.
Yeah, for me, well, like I said before, sorry, Jordan, I'm not really dating the Batman getting married thing. So, yeah, I'm not going to be getting my books.
Especially if they jump up in price.
Yeah, not to $4. Yeah. So, yeah, it. I don't think it's a good move. Especially like if you're like a person like me that, you know, was not really into this wedding storyline, it's going to make it even worse. So
yeah.
And even if, you know, you come up to me and be like, oh, you know, you have to get this issue, this is the wedding issue, or this is the best Flash issue, it might be a no. I mean, it might have to be
really good, huh? Like,
yeah.
IDW Ninja Turtles good, huh?
Yeah, it'll have to be that good because, yeah, that's kind of expensive for a comic book, you know?
Especially when you get as many as I do, is in the DC front and the Batman books. So if you start noticing not reviewing a Batman or a detective title, you'll know why in the future. But I'm going to stick with it for now.
So on a regular trip to your comic book store, Tim, how much do you spend?
I try to. My budget is to try to spend like 20 to 25 each visit each week. But sometimes when there's like special issues out and all that stuff, it can get a little more.
Yeah.
But so it's usually, I guess, on an average about 25 each week. So.
Oh wow. Oh yeah. So you're definitely dropping some books, Tim.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't want to, but got to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
But moving on for some disappointing news, the one thing I'm really excited for later this year is the Death of Superman animated movie. We got our first trailer for it. I mean, we got our little sneak peek with the Suicide Squad Hell to Pay bonus feature, but this is our first actual trailer, and I just can't wait for it. And I know I said before how I wasn't sure about it being set in the animated movie universe continuity, but I kind of moved past it now. I'm kind of accepted for what it is, and it just looks like a lot of fun. I mean, the Death of Superman, an iconic story, but seeing this incarnation of the Justice League fighting Doomsday, it's just looking really, really cool. So can't wait for that. And this is our first time. Another thing I was curious about is hearing Rainn Wilson's voice as Lex Luthor, and we got our first taste of it in this trailer. And I don't know, right now it doesn't quite fit the Lex that I think the design they're going for here. Maybe once I see the whole movie it'll feel better, but it still feels like I'm hearing Dwight's voice as Lex Luthor. So we'll see how it goes. But I did think it was an interesting choice and was excited to hear how he does. But wasn't quite, I guess, what I was hoping for when I heard he was cast. But we'll see when I hear his performance in the whole movie. And also, we got the release date, which is going to comes out digitally, of course, before the Blu-ray, which is July 24th, and then the Blu-ray is August 7th. So the week of August 7th, I'll be picking it up. It won't be a Batman Ninja scenario way. I haven't seen it yet. I'll be getting The Death of Superman on day one when it hits Blu-ray. So I'm excited for that. And then some other news kind of on the TV front. We just found out Gotham actually just wrapped up its 4th season this past Thursday. And it was revealed that it's coming back for a season 5, but it's going to be its final season. Gotham is ending next year. And it's only going to have 13 episodes next season. I think they said it's also going to be like a mid-season run. So not in the fall of 2018. It's probably not till 2019, I would guess.
Wow, so they're really trying to get rid of it then.
It seems like.
I mean, 13 episodes is not going to be in its normal place in the year. Yeah. Yeah,
and they've said too, these last episodes are going to focus on, Bruce making his way toward the Cape and Cowl and getting that final shot. I'm sure is going to be him in the bat suit. And I guess since we're on the subject of Gotham, I'll just talk about those past seasons that just ended.
I
mean, everyone has something to say about Gotham. That's to say the least. Love it or hate it. But I would think most fans I see are on the hated side of things. But I will say I actually genuinely enjoyed this season. I mean, you just got to know what you're getting into with this show. Like I've said before, they're going to do things crazy and different. And a lot of the times it doesn't work, but sometimes it makes for entertaining TV watching with these different takes on these characters. But this season was actually enjoyable, especially the first half, I think, when Gordon was dealing with Sophia Falcone or Falcone. I'm hearing the name Falcone too much on Gotham, like forgetting to pronounce it the right way, which is Falcone. But that stuff was good. And then how it ended, doing typical Gotham things where they're trying to incorporate his like classic Batman moments, but yet they shouldn't be doing it just yet because they did the whole thing with their take on the Joker with that character Jerome. And spoilers, by the way, for the last 2 episodes of Gotham, including the finale, if you haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, but everybody knew that was Joker when he first came on scene.
But they did a thing where he wasn't the Joker.
Yeah, but he was the Joker the whole time. I mean, come on, let's.
It was the better take on the Joker than what we got at the later episodes. Because what happened was he had his plan, to make Gotham, a madhouse and everyone turn it into chaos. But he was really looking for his twin brother, who was like the good version of him. And what happened was Jerome, he got killed. He died off. Gordon shot him. But before, he died, he sent his twin brother, Jeremiah, a package, and once he opened it, it was filled with the Joker toxin. That was another thing they established this year. The Joker toxin was created, which turns everyone crazy and the smiles and grins on their face. And so that gas, he did a concentrated version of it. And once his brother Jeremiah opened the package and inhaled the gas, he turned into what is going to be, I guess, their version of the Joker. His skin started turning more pale, not the full white makeup look, but you could tell that's what they were going for. Didn't have the full green hair. His lips were red, going for that clown look, but they didn't go all the way because I think the actor who plays him said they're not allowed to even call him the Joker or have him the green hair or all that nonsense stuff that I still can't believe DC's concerned about. I mean, come on, if you're going to have him in there, just go full on, call him the Joker and all that. Don't try to, do it halfway, but same old stuff. So he becomes the Joker, and he gets obsessed with Bruce, who wanted to be, because him and Bruce were working on this energy project together. But once he turned crazy, he made him into bombs, and then he really considers Bruce his friend, and they're trying to establish, they were friends, but then they're going to end up being the greatest enemies. But Joker is going to view Bruce still as his friend in his own crazy way, so they're trying to set up their relationship there. So the season finale episode, it turned out Jeremiah / Joker teamed up with Ra's al Ghul to bring about this prophecy that Ra's al Ghul has on Gotham's destruction, which is going to bring about the Dark Knight in his heir, which he, of course, views Bruce as. They didn't do a good job with Ra's al Ghul, I'll say that. He wasn't one of the entertaining aspects of the season, except when he came back as a zombie. That was the only good version of him this season.
You see, that's the only guy that makes sense being in Gotham at that time. Yeah, Ra's.
Yeah,
because
he would be
immortal.
Operating in some way. Yeah,
he's immortal. Alfred should be there because he's old.
Well, Alfred's one of the best characters in the show. So.
Yeah.
So yeah, him and Ra's work together to bring about the destruction of Gotham because, Jeremiah wants to, bring out, what he considers the best part of Bruce as his friend in his own weird way, and Ra's wants that heir. And they pretty much do a no man's land thing. They destroy the bridges of Gotham almost right out of Dark Knight Rises, how they destroy it. And they were evacuating most of the city. So Gotham's just left with, the criminals and a few cops like Gordon, Bullock, and Bruce who stayed to protect the city. So they're definitely gonna do a no man's land thing because they're already setting up, the different turf that the different gangs have and all that, setting the stages for the inevitable gang war that's going to erupt. But how it ended was, I know what they were going for to try to have an iconic moment, but it's still one of those things that's too soon. You should have saved it for your last episode. Gordon shines. They're trying to make like the bat signal, but there's no symbol on the floodlight on the Gotham PD. So it's just a bright light that's shining in the sky.
Yeah.
Just to show criminals, the police are still here. You can't hide out there. Then Bruce shows up on the rooftop, and we technically have our first Gordon Batman rooftop scene, except, he's not Batman. Talking about, we're going to protect the city. We're going to round up all these criminals and all that. And I was just thinking, yeah, I know what you're trying to go here for, but this would have been the perfect way to end the series next season when you already said you're going to have Bruce. The last episodes are going to be him becoming Batman. This is how you should have ended this series on, with him in the costume talking to Gordon on the rooftop for a first time. But they'll probably may end up still doing that, but it's going to lose kind of the effectiveness I think it would have had if they didn't do it here yet. So
yeah, you know what too, Tim? I don't think they thought they were going to get a 5th season. So they
kind of left it. Well, it would have been a weird way to have the series end on a, not technically a cliffhanger, but an open-ended way where, Gotham is run by criminals and, we don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, never mind then. I thought that's how it ended with the, Bruce and Gordon on the rooftop.
Yeah. So they'll probably do that again for the season 5 or series finale, but Bruce will just be in the Batman costume, and Gordon will probably have a mustache and glasses. I wonder if they're going to do a time jump.
Probably. I mean, they would have to, right? Because
you would think, but the way they do things now, I just think they're going to put the young kid in the Batman suit. Knowing how Gotham does things, that's probably what they're going to do.
And I think I've asked you this about Gotham before, but did they do the thing that you didn't want them to do, where it's Bruce helping Gordon out with solving the murder or whatever, solving the crime?
Not too much. I mean, yeah, that was something I said way early back when the series first announced. Bruce got into his own situations and stuff and problems that he had to deal with, where Gordon would kind of have to help him out, and they would kind of cross paths and help each other with certain threats, but nothing too much where Bruce was like his sidekick and helping him solve crimes and mysteries and all that stuff. They never really went down that route.
And is Gordon still like a security guard or something?
No, he's like captain of the police force again.
Oh, okay.
So I would imagine he'd be commissioner by the time the series ends. I mean, it's only natural for them to do that, you would think. And I think they've officially gotten every main villain in there, because one of the villains they teased at the end of this season was Man-Bat coming in.
Oh,
so,
he
didn't look that great either.
Do they? It didn't look that good.
I will say though,
do they have Clock King?
Oh no, they don't have Clock King. Clock King or the ventriloquist Scarface. I guess those are some two they haven't touched yet, but series isn't over yet.
Calendar Man.
Do they have Calendar Man? I don't think so.
Okay.
If anything, he might have been a small character. I don't think they did though.
Okay, so just all the main villains, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I will say, I saw the best looking live action Scarecrow ever in the season finale.
Really?
I'll say even look better than the Batman Begins Scarecrow.
Wow.
Because he had a great mask, but they gave him the hat too, and we haven't seen that yet in the Scarecrow in live action. It looked really cool. It was like the comic and animated series Scarecrow brought to life, and it looked really good. So, if anything, it was worth watching just for seeing the Scarecrow look that great in live action.
Yeah. Speaking of Scarecrow and Batman Begins and Dark Knight, you know who did that? Do you know who made that Scarecrow mask?
Nah.
The Jim Henson Creature Shop.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I should have guessed.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't. I was just like wondering, like, okay, so is the creature shop different from, you know, the group that makes the Sesame Street animatronics? And
Yeah, I'm sure they got different departments. I mean, it only makes sense. They got to be a big
yeah,
production company. So,
yeah, yeah.
but that'll explain why it looks so good, though. So yeah, that's my recap on Gotham season 4, and I'll do the same for season 5 once it airs and it all wraps up. But yeah,
Yeah, I think it's about time to end that show.
it's probably
You
for
know,
the best.
yeah, because I mean, you're running out of main villains. I mean, you've
Yeah.
run out of main villains already.
That's for sure.
Especially the ones that aren't supposed to be there at that time. You know, like
Mm-hmm.
you kind of run out of villains. So it's probably time to end that show because you don't want to be bringing in, you know, Egghead,
Yeah, King
and
Tut.
King Tut, and you know, was Gorilla Grodd ever in that, or am I thinking of the Flash?
No, you're thinking of the Flash. He was in
Okay.
Flash. Yeah.
Yeah, he was in the Flash. Okay, because Gorilla Grodd is in Batman Ninja.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's right. I think I remember seeing him in some of the trailers. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of an interesting choice. But well, just because Gotham is ending doesn't mean Batman on TV is going to be ending, because we just announced that, you know, from some of the producers of Gotham, we're going to be getting a show about a young Alfred called Pennyworth. And this is, I don't think they have a set date yet for a year when this is going to come out. It might be not until like the end of 2019. But it's called Pennyworth, and it's going to be obviously based on the early life of Alfred. And it's going to be, you know, with him as a special forces officer living in London, and says he's going to be working with Thomas Wayne. So I'm on two different minds of this announcement. First off, I think it's also, I should say too, it's going to be airing on Epix, which I'm not sure what that channel is. I got to find that out if I want to check it out.
I think it's a spin-off of... Yeah, I think it's a spin-off of... not Cinemax.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I don't even know if it's like a premium channel. I have to...
Yeah, it's a premium channel. Yeah, it's like a HBO or a Stars or a Showtime. Yeah.
Okay. Well, good to know. why want to watch it? I have to pay extra for it. But yeah, so first off, I think the concept of a series of stories based on a younger Alfred, I think it's cool. I mean, we had just come off that Scott Snyder All-Star Batman arc, the first Ally, which dealt with Alfred's younger days, and it was really good. And I've always liked that aspect of Alfred and, you know, what his past was like as a special forces agent. But, you know, so seeing that and then him coming to know Thomas Wayne, I think could be cool, as long as they don't, you know, foreshadow too much about, you know, Bruce and Batman and all that type of stuff. Just don't try to be too cute with certain things and do a lot of foreshadowing. If they kind of stay away from that, but establish how he becomes close to Thomas and the Wayne family, I think that could be really cool. But here's my thing. It's just, I don't know, it's getting a little tiring of different, I guess, Warner Brothers, DC, whoever you want to point to, just cherry picking certain aspects of Batman and making, and even other, like with Superman, because we got the Krypton show and then the Lois and Lex Luthor show that's in development, just picking different aspects of the big characters and making those TV shows and not doing anything with their main characters like Batman or Superman, because it's starting to get a little tiring, to be honest, where they're doing all these little things with their main characters but not with the main characters, and they got to go out of their way to not reference him or use like Batman or Superman and all that stuff. I just wish they would like kind of go full on out with their characters and their worlds to have one big cohesive story with their main characters and their great supporting characters. So it's getting a little frustrating on that front, where they're just, I don't know, getting a little too, I don't want to use the word greedy, might be too strong, but just trying to, I guess, oversaturate and milk the Batman and Superman franchise with their characters, supporting characters, and not the characters themselves. It's just, I don't know, it's getting a little tiring where they keep having these projects without the main characters. So concept, I think, could be cool, but let's just not go too crazy beyond this with other Batman related series that don't have nothing to do with Batman.
For me, first I should say, I was wrong. Epix is like its own separate thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
But is it still a premium channel though?
Yeah, it's like an a la carte thing. Yeah. It's going to be a hard no for me. Yeah, it's like you said, you can't just cherry pick what you want. It should just be a Batman show. And I think if I were to watch this show, it's going to be the same thing as Gotham. And, you're just going to be looking for that main, like, okay, so when are they going to introduce the main villain? Like, how fast are they going to pump in the Joker for some reason?
Man, they really got to stay away from that in this series. They really got
but
to.
They're not. I mean, they're not. I mean, it's going to be the Joker was a secret, guy in World War II for some reason. Like, it's going to be something like that, and it's going to be the same thing as Gotham, like what Gotham is doing, and it's going to be a hard no for me. This should just be a Batman show. This, and I'm gonna hate to say, I hate to compare it, but I don't know if you've ever seen Battlestar Galactica, Tim.
No, I haven't.
It's a really good show, and it went on for 5 seasons, and it's just like I said, it's a really great show. But then they decided to do Caprica, this prequel show, right? What happened before Battlestar Galactica? It didn't even last 1 season.
Oh wow!
Right, so I think this is kind of in that boat. Again, it doesn't really interest me. Like the young Alfred Pennyworth doesn't really interest me. Young Bruce Wayne kind of interested me, but yeah, it just wouldn't have that same thing if they said this is going to be the Batman show.
Yeah, it's almost come to that point where they just have to. I mean, that's kind of what else could they do? Like, that's what we want when we're fans of Batman first and foremost. That's what kind of gets me frustrated at Warner Bros. And DC, how they operate things and what's going on in the movie universe. We just can't have one definitive version out there that encompasses everything we love about Batman, side characters and history and all that. We just got to have all these different series that don't connect, and you got to have some will have this thing that you like, but it can't have this thing that you like about it. So I just wish there was one main thing out there in live action, I should say, whether it's a movie or TV show that encompasses everything we love about Batman.
And it's also the fact that as a comic reader, I've read this before. I've read all of this before. I know about. I know where Alfred came from. I know where Bruce came from. I don't need to see it again. It's. I don't know. It's like I said. It's going to be a hard no for me, unless you watch it and it's like, Dane, this is like the IDW comic. You better read. you better watch it now.
Yeah, right now is the plan. I want to check it out, but that's another thing. The superhero TV genre is becoming way overcrowded. It was like I haven't watched the Krypton show, and it looked pretty good, but just I haven't had a chance to yet. I'm still watching the other shows that I've watched for several seasons now. So I really have to pick and choose on this front now, and TV shows to watch based on comic books as well. So
is the Adam show still on? Back from Tomorrow or something.
Legends of Tomorrow.
Legends of Tomorrow, is that still on?
It's still on, but I didn't finish the whole season. I kind of jumped off like midway.
Yeah,
it was one of those things where I couldn't keep up with it for time, and out of all the CW superhero shows, that was the one that kept my interest the least this season, so I fell off on it.
Same thing with not Batgirl, Supergirl. Like I fell off that a long time ago.
I'm still up to date for the most part on. I'm like 2 episodes behind on it. The season has been pretty good, actually, I will say.
What about Arrow?
Arrow was up and down this season. It ended good, but the first half wasn't that great to me. It was retreading a lot of stories ideas, but once they got in a new villain for the second half, that's where it picked up. And the season finale was really good. And where they left things, I'm kind of excited, a little more excited than normal than I thought I would be for season 7, where things left off. So,
whichever season the Deadshot season was.
Deadshot or Deathstroke?
Deathstroke, sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Season 2.
That was the best season.
Yes, that still is. Season 5 though was really good too. That was like probably after season 2. Season 5 was the next best one.
Yeah,
that was like a good return to form, but then it dipped a little again this year. But that leads us to our other big TV news, and I'm really curious what you think about this, Dane. Batwoman will be making her live action debut on the CW shows in next year's crossover event, because around every December all the shows come together for like these 2-part or 4-part crossovers, and the next one they're going to introduce Gotham into the Arrow universe and Batwoman. So I'll let you go first on this one, Dane. How do you feel just about seeing a live action Batwoman finally be brought to TV?
Well, first off, I have to ask, how are those crossover events? Are they usually good, or are they usually it's not very good? Or...
Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of this last crossover. I think it got too big because there's a bunch of new shows, like I said, coming up with too many characters. But the first two, was it 2 or 3 now? Yeah, I think it's there's been 3. So yeah, the first 2 were good. I enjoy those ones.
With that being said, there's a version of Batwoman that I like, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's the J.H. Williams, Greg Rucka, Hayden Blackman, Batwoman. And she's off doing her own thing, right? She's not, constantly interacting with Arrow or with Green Arrow or Flash or Supergirl. She's off doing her own thing. I think in the entire run, if I remember correctly, only Batman and Wonder Woman show up. A Wonder Woman more so than Batman. So yeah, I'm not sure how this is going to work out. I mean, has she been in the show before? No, right?
No, I mean, they did little hints of Gotham, and Oliver name dropped Bruce Wayne for the first time this season. So
yeah,
I'm curious, because here's the thing: Supergirl is in another Earth than Arrow and the Flash, because obviously her Earth, Superman exists and Batman exists in hers, but they don't exist in the Arrow and Flash universe. So I'm wondering if they're going to go to Supergirl's Earth, and that's where Batwoman and Batman are established, or are they finally going to bring them into the Arrow and Flash universe where, see, this is what I'm curious about. Which I hope they don't go this route where they just ignore that Batman doesn't exist, and Kate Kane is the only Bat character in Gotham, and there is no Batman, because I'd be really disappointed if that's this is the only Batman connection it has. I hope Batman's been missing for several years, or he's just been operating in the shadows so much no one knew that he existed. Just some way to show that Batman has been here this whole time, but now we're finally going to get, I guess, we're going to see a little more of his world now, introducing Batwoman in Gotham. So it's going to be interesting to see. That's what I'm curious about, mainly what world this is going to take place in, Supergirl's or Arrow and Flash's. Because it'd be a big deal if it's Arrow and Flash's, because they're going to establish a new big corner of the, DC universe by introducing the Bat family in there.
See, so you've brought me to my next point, Tim, which is, I want to see Batwoman in live action, but I think this case in particular, and we've been talking about it before, it should just be Batman. It shouldn't be Batwoman or Damian or whatever, right? It should just be Batman in this situation. Even though I would like to see, the design of Batwoman's costume, the actress they get to play, Kate,
Yeah, I got to say, I'm optimistic on how the costume will look. I mean, they've had some misfires, but for the most part, I think they've done a pretty good job with their costume designs, and keeping it pretty faithful to how they are in the comics. So I'm hopeful they'll do the same with Batwoman, because she has a great costume. It'd be a shame if they don't do it justice.
Yeah. I've been negative on this show so much. Yeah. So I'll say I'm excited for it. I've been too negative.
At least this will be something you can easily check out once it airs. I mean, you don't have to pay extra or anything for it. It'll be on normal TV or on the CW app, which you can just stream easily. So,
I've been listening to a lot of sports podcasts. And if you love sports, let's say you like baseball. let's say you are a New York Yankees fan.
Which I am.
Let's say you love this team, right?
Which I do.
Don't ever listen to a New York Yankees podcast. Don't ever listen to a sports podcast, period.
So it's just like any other fandom where they say they like or love something, but all they do is trash and dash it and all that type of stuff. Figures.
You know, if this was a New York Yankees podcast, it would be, don't ever like the New York Yankees. Don't. They should get rid of the entire team. They should. Go ahead.
After they went on this amazing run too, yeah, I'm sure there's fans that are complaining still.
Look, if this were a New York Yankees podcast, it would be, and let's say they swept the ALDS, they swept the ALCS, they finished, you know, they won the pennant with I don't know, 30 games still left, right? They swept the World Series, right? And our next podcast would be about how, yeah, they did that, but
it could have been this much better. Or
Sanchez, you know, instead of hitting 3 home runs, he hit 1 home run in Game 4 of the World Series. And
Aaron Judge was hitless in the World Series even though he still won.
Judge hit 7 home runs when he should have hit 19 home runs in Game 4 of the World Series, and they should get rid of him while, you know, his stock is still good. They should get rid of Aaron Boone. They should. You know what? Baseball sucks. Let's not play baseball anymore. You know, or even if, like, let's say we had a general baseball podcast, right? And let's say, you know, it's a great World Series. You know, it goes down to the 7th game. It goes down to the last out of the 9th inning of the 7th game of the World Series, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't fun enough. It wasn't entertaining enough. The pitcher took too long to throw the ball. You know, the outfielder took too long to throw the ball into the infield after he made the out in the in the 5th inning. You know, so
wow.
You don't listen to sports podcasts if you love baseball or if you love sports.
Yeah, I just stick with the sports radio show podcast. Or
no, I don't even do that, Tim. I don't even do that.
Well, the one I watch is funny and entertaining, and it's done by the Yankees broadcaster Michael Kay, so he can't be too negative on the Yankees.
Oh, by the way, bringing things around to Cobra Kai again. Did you see the bobblehead on Daniel's desk?
It's not ringing a bell right now, or remembering what it is.
I believe it was a Keith Hernandez bobblehead.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's right. I think he was a Mets fan growing up in Jersey. Yeah. They hinted at that in the first Karate Kid movie. So, I guess that makes sense. So, yeah, I guess that's going to do it for our news catch-up for this episode. A lot of TV stuff going on. So
it's going to be a long show, Tim.
Yeah. I mean, we still got our Jordan's email and a couple of comic reviews. So we'll move on to Jordan's email. And Jordan starts off his email, probably the best start to any email ever that he sent.
Of course. I just opened it. Of course.
He says, "Hey, Tim and Dane and Alex, I finally listened to a 311 song, Tim. 2 of them, actually. Well, actually, I've heard them before, but I didn't know that I had. I was rewatching one of my favorite movies this past week, 50 First Dates with Adam Sandler and Batman Forever star Drew Barrymore, and I had the subtitles on. A song started playing, and the subtitle said that it was Amber by 311. I love that song, or at least the portion that plays in the film. But I never realized it was by 311. When I found out, I did some research and learned that 311 also did one of the songs in the end credits, Love Song, which I love as well.
Apparently, that's the most, no offense, Tim, that's the most boring cover ever. Yeah. I mean, it already starts off as a slow song.
Yeah.
And then you add the reggae into it, and it's like, oh.
It's like slow, but man, was it a big hit for him, though?
Oh, yeah. That was a huge hit for him. I mean, they still play it.
Yeah, not as often as Amber, because Amber was a real big hit for them as well, and they do that every single show. They're like, I don't think I've been to a 311 concert where they haven't done Amber.
I meant on the radio.
Oh, yeah, that too.
Yeah, they still play it on the radio, that love song cover.
Yeah, but yeah, Amber that's like for like the hardcore 311 fans like myself who've been to a bunch of concerts.
Yeah.
Most of them, that's like their bathroom break song when Amber comes on, because we've heard it so many times. I don't go because I don't want to miss any of the concert, but a lot of 311 fans, I see it on social media, even ones at the concert, that's like they get their beers, they go to the restroom during Amber because they play it all the time.
What, Amber?
Yeah, every show is like they have to do it.
Isn't that their big hit though?
Yeah, I mean, I understand why, but sometimes it might be. I think on their sake, just have one show where they don't play it.
Yeah,
but
that one show that they don't play it is going to be the one show that people complain about they didn't play Amber.
Well, I mean, you're right, because there's always could be someone's first show. Like in Jordan's case, for instance, he loves Amber, and maybe I'm wrong, but Jordan, I don't think you've been to a 311 concert, and if you were to go to one and didn't hear Amber because you loved it, I imagine you'd be disappointed. So
yeah, or love
that's
song.
why they do it. Yeah. He just finishes this part by saying, apparently Nick Hexum from 311 even produced the entire soundtrack. Anyway, I thought that was really cool. Did you know about this? Yes, I did. I know Nick Hexum worked on this with, I think, Adam Sandler, and Adam Sandler asked Nick to write or use a song, and then the theme of the album was 80 cover songs. I know like Alien Ant Farm did a cover of The Cure's Friday I'm in Love, and there's other 80 covers, and of course 311 did love songs. So that was, that was between. I think that was between the album I was going to say that was like a project he did after Amber, but I believe 51st Dates came out, that soundtrack, after their album Evolver, which was the album that came out after From Chaos, which Amber was on. So because their two biggest hits in succession, though I will say that Amber and then Love Songs were their two biggest hits. Probably no, Don't Tread on Me was a hit too, but probably their biggest hits in succession, I will say, were Amber and Love Song. So
speaking of which, in 51st Dates where Adam Sandler works.
Well, I've never actually seen the movie though. I just listened to the soundtrack.
Well, I'm talking to Jordan.
Okay.
That's where my parents got married.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty cool. Well, maybe I should watch it now.
It's a place called Sea Life Park.
Huh.
It's about like 10-15 minutes away from my parents' house. Used to go there a lot because it was so close to my elementary school.
Okay.
Yeah, so like we would go there on field trips a lot. There's like dolphins, and there's the Hawaiian sea turtles, and sharks, and I think like stingrays. I'm not sure. I can't remember.
Get a wide range of ocean life in one place, I guess.
Monk seals, even birds, I think. Yeah. So.
Oh well, I guess that was a cool surprise to when you saw the movie, or if you knew they were filming in Hawaii, you were already kind of expecting to see that part in the movie.
No, I just didn't expect him to work there.
Okay.
Yeah. I thought it was a little out of the way, but I guess not.
Nope. Well, anyway, Jordan, glad you knew of 311 songs. And if you like those ones, I know the reason I love them, they have a great variety of music, so not all their songs are going to be in that style, but there's definitely other ones that are similar to that you should check out. So if you want any more recommendations, just let me know.
Does 311 still do the rap thing? The rap?
Yeah, they
rock?
still have a few songs like that. It's becoming less and less with each album, but there's always like 2 or 3 songs that still have it. Can't forget about the roots.
And Nick Hexum is the lead singer?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Lead singer and guitarist. But Jordan continues saying, I'm glad to hear you enjoyed Suicide Squad Hell to Pay, Tim. I totally agree about how cool the twist was. Spoilers, too. I didn't see it coming at all, although once it happened, I felt like I should have. I mean, the end of Justice League Flashpoint Paradox is technically in the New 52 shared universe. There's even a post-credit tease where we see parademons leading into Justice League War. However, when C. Thomas Howell was announced to be reprising his role as Professor Zoom, it didn't even occur to me that they could be trying Suicide Squad Hell to Pay into what happened to him in Justice League: The Flashpoint Paradox. Same boat, Jordan. Should have seen it coming, but it didn't. But it still made for an awesome surprise. So it took me by surprise, and it was so cool. A few characters that were surprising standouts to me in the movie were Steel Maxim, Copperhead, and Bronze Tiger. Steel Maxim was so funny. I was cracking up just about everything that came out of that guy's mouth. Copperhead brought a lot of humor too. He was very understated, but when he hits at people, it really made me laugh. Bronze Tiger was the heart of the film. He wasn't really a true villain. He was more of a Punisher type character and an anti-hero who kills. I like that he was the one to get to use the card at the end of the movie rather than Amanda Waller. Speaking of the card, I was very pleased with that. Like you, Tim, I was a little worried when we heard that Task Force X would be going after a mystical object in this movie. Like, did they not learn their lesson to keep it more grounded after what happened in the live-action film? However, unlike the swirling ring of trash in the sky in that movie, in this film it was just a little card that everyone was after, so I didn't mind it at all. I enjoyed a lot of the characters and smaller roles in the movie. While I wasn't very fond of the voice performance of James Urbaniak for Professor Pig, it wasn't creepy enough. I love seeing that character, since in my opinion, he's one of the most underrated Batman villains. The way Vandal Savage had Professor Pig implant the card in his body in a way where someone would have to kill him to remove it was brilliant. I also love seeing Punch and Julie, since I came to love them thanks to Tom King's I Am Suicide arc. I definitely agree that Alan Burnett left on a great note, with this film being his final one. I have zero familiarity with Kathy Ann, so I can't really comment on her specifically, but I am excited that there is now a director attached to this Harley Quinn / Birds of Prey project. It's very unclear exactly what this film will wind up being, but I think there are a lot of interesting things they could do with it. Apparently, Warner Brothers executives were very impressed with Christina Hodson's script. That's why they hired her to write the Batgirl solo movie too. So that is the one thing that has me excited. I've also heard that this movie will sort of do for Batgirl what Batman v Superman did for Wonder Woman, introducing her in a team-up before her solo movie. That would be cool. I'll reiterate that I think Chloe Grace Moretz would be an outstanding choice to play Batgirl. She's been my fan cast for a long time now. Of course, Margot Robbie is just amazing as Harley, and I can't wait to see her in the role again. My question is really about what role Harley will have in this film. That's where things are unclear. There are so many films in development right now involving her. Gotham City Sirens, Suicide Squad 2, the Joker and Harley movie, and now this. What I think is most likely to happen is that Birds of Prey...
Are they really doing Suicide Squad 2?
Apparently, it's still... Oh. Yeah, they still have a director. I think the guy who did the Ben Affleck movie, The Accountant, I think he's doing it. As far as I know, it's still on track. But again, they have so many of these projects in development. We'll see what actually gets off the ground. But I think Suicide Squad 2 will be one of them because how financially successful the first one was. But Jordan continues saying, what I think will most likely to happen is that Birds of Prey will have to reluctantly ally themselves with Harley in the film to stop a greater threat, sort of like Batman and Nightwing had to do with her in Batman Harley Quinn, the animated movie. I've also heard a lot of speculation that this movie could wind up incorporating the Gotham City Sirens and being a Birds of Prey versus Gotham City Sirens story. That idea has me excited because it means we'll likely finally have Catwoman in the DCEU. I need her in this universe ASAP. That scenario for Catwoman to be introduced does give me just a little bit of hesitation, though, as it makes me feel that she might be portrayed more as a villain than I'd prefer her to be. That being said, they could totally make it work brilliantly if Catwoman were to start off with the Sirens and then wind up siding with the Birds of Prey by the end. That would be amazing. Unlike Yan, Steven Spielberg is, of course, a director I'm very familiar with. It's pretty awesome to have such a legendary director working on a DC film. Like you, Tim, my primary exposure to the Blackhawks is the Justice League 3-parter, The Savage Time, and I really like them in that. The Blackhawk movie could be very unique because it wouldn't really be a superhero film. I do wonder, however, if perhaps Wonder Woman or the JSA could have cameos in it. I've also heard speculation that perhaps Samir could be a member of the Blackhawks. In addition, I wonder whether this movie will be set in the DCEU or whether it will be part of the Elseworlds banner. My hope is the former for two reasons. One, it would allow for Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman or said Tagamois, again, I'm probably screwing his name up, who played Samir to appear, as I brought up. And two, I want them to continue expanding the DCEU, even if some films are only very loosely connected. I'm right there with you, Jordan. I think it'd be really cool to have it connected into the DCEU where, we established the World War I time period, and let's establish the World War II time period in it. So I think it'd kind of be foolish not to, but we'll see.
You know what, this Steven Spielberg thing? movie, the Black Ops movie. I'm just wondering if people will care about Black Ops.
Yeah, they probably won't try to advertise it too much as a superhero movie, I would think, more as like Steven Spielberg World War II movie.
Yeah.
I'm sure it'll be saying from the director of Saving Private Ryan and all that stuff on the advertisement for it, even though you just should really just put Steven Spielberg's name on it. That's all you need, but
yeah,
so, it's connected with that.
So with that said, it kind of seems like they might not be doing that, connecting it to the DCEU.
Yeah, if it wouldn't surprise me, but it's not what I'm hoping for. And Jordan continues saying, I watched your best animated Batman moments YouTube videos, Tim, and I really enjoy them. Great job. Well, thank you, Jordan. At the time you made those videos, your number one was definitely the same as mine, up until Batman Gotham by Gaslight came out. The final DCAU Batman vs. Joker confrontation was my number one favorite. Now it's number 4, but it's still in my top 5. Mark Hamill is always outstanding as the Joker, but I consider Batman Beyond Return of the Joker, and that scene in particular, to be his absolute best performance in the role. His monologue to Batman about being a little boy in a playsuit crying for mommy and daddy gives me chills every time. Of course, everything that happens with Tim, not you Tim, Tim J, is just heartbreaking and devastating, culminating in him crying in Batgirl's arms after killing the Joker. Absolutely incredible. 100% agree with you, Jordan. That's why it was my number one then, and it's still my number one choice right now. It's just amazing. Your number 2 and number 3 moments are the only ones I'd really argue on. As I've complained about many times, I can't stand resurrections. They're an overused trope of the superhero genre that take away from the impact of the death in question and reduce the stakes moving forward. Jason Todd is the worst example of this, in my opinion. I love stories that explores Batman's psychology after he lost Jason, such as The Dark Knight Returns, A Lonely Place of Dying, Noelle, and BVS. When Jason gets resurrected, it takes that away. For that reason, I don't hold Batman under the Red Hood in nearly as high regard as most fans. There's some good stuff in Batman versus the Red Hood confrontation, the fight choreography, the voice performance, the Joker dialogue, but ultimately I can't get over how frustrating it is to me that Jason is alive again. It's not even my favorite scene in that film. The scene where the Joker kills all the black men with the glass and the scene where Batman reminisces about Jason's first day at Robin's are my favorite. So I'm going to have to disagree big time there. Yeah, the reasons you just mentioned right there, the choreography, voice performance, the Joker's dialogue, and just the themes it represents in that final moment is all why it's my number 2 pick. So I guess we can agree to disagree on that one, Jordan. Then for the number 3 pick, which he's referenced to, the Batman versus Bane fight from Over the Edge, that's what I put as my number 3. Is awesome, but for me, it isn't on the level of other moments on the list. I do think it's more worthy than the aforementioned scene from Under the Red Hood. The scene from Chill of the Night is incredible. I just wish the rest of Batman Brave and the Bold was that good. Diedrich Bader, who I honestly am not typically a fan of as Batman, even kills it in that scene. The scene in Batman Mask of the Phantasm where Bruce is begging his parents to release from his vow kills me. And the scene where Batman dons the Batsuit for the first time, you see Alfred's reaction, is another that always gives me chills. The scene from Epilogue is incredible. Batman telling Ace that he knows what it's like to have your childhood taken away from you is such a touching and emotional moment, as is Batman confirming to Ace that she is dying. That's a scene that never fails to make me tear up. I liked your inclusion of the scene from Justice League The New Frontier, too. Jeremy Sista was such an underrated Batman. He was excellent. That line he has to Martian Manhunter about how he has a way to take him out if he wants to. It's just so Batman. Yeah, I kind of, looking back on the list I made, Jordan, I would agree that maybe I put the Batman versus Bane fight a little too high. I mean, it's amazing. I love it. I mean, something I've never seen before in Batman animation at that time. Bane and Batman fight to the death. It just blew me away. But some of the other stuff you mentioned here, like Epilogue and then the moment for Mask of the Phantasm, Brave and the Bold, I think looking back on it now, I probably rank those a little higher than that Batman Bane fight, though it would still be in my top 10. He continues saying, I was a lot higher on Batman 45 than you were, Tim. I thought it was amazing. Spoilers, to me it felt like a mix of For the Man Who Has Everything, as was referenced in the issue. Flashpoint, with Booster Gold going back in time to save Thomas and Martha, like Flash went back in time to save Nora in that story. And Batman Beyond, with there being a bunch of Jokers running around. I thought Tom King did such a great job writing the back and forth between Booster and Skeets. It was hilarious, but I thought it actually fit really well despite how dark a story it is overall. While this issue was focused more on Booster than it was on Batman and Catwoman, and Catwoman's wedding still plays into this issue heavily, with what Booster did being intended as a wedding gift, so I love that about it. Can't wait to see what happens next. And since you guys are talking about them, I thought I'd chime in and say that I really enjoyed both of the most recent Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle films. I found them to be a ton of fun. I wish it was more likely that there would be a third movie in this series. Don't blame me for the box office disappointment of Out of the Shadows. I was the first one at my theater for a 6 p.m. Thursday night preview screening when it came out.
Wow.
By the way,
Jeez.
Not only was there a DC connection with Green Arrow playing Casey Jones, but also Smallville's Aquaman and Titan's Hawk, Alan Richardson, played Raphael. Yep, I was with you that same time, Jordan. I went to the first Thursday night showing for Out of the Shadows as well. But unfortunately, my theater wasn't too crowded. So,
so it was you and 2 other people?
A little more than 2, maybe 10. Yeah, the first one did really good, but Out of the Shadows didn't do as nearly as well as the first one. But
yeah, so they're probably not going to do a third one.
No.
You know what?
Well,
I think they should just stick with the animated movies. I don't know why they don't just do that.
I still want another really well done live action Ninja Turtles movie. In fact, I can't remember if I said this on the last episode. I might have, but I love a Netflix Daredevil style Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles series. That would be my top choice for a live action or new live action interpretation of them. Let's do a Netflix series like that.
Yeah. I've always had the question about these Marvel TV shows.
Mm.
Are those characters that they, Marvel, Kevin Feige, Disney, or whoever, right? Mm-hmm. Just don't care about, you can have it, go do whatever you want with it. Because we're not going to use it Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, the Inhumans.
Kind of, yeah. I think they probably figured they talked to each other which characters you have plans for or not, and I'm sure they probably worked out, okay, we don't have any media plans for Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, so you can go ahead and do that.
Yeah.
They do their own thing. I mean, they're all in the same universe, but I do wish the TV series would get acknowledged a little bit more in the movies, but at the same time, they're so separate that, or Kevin Feige and his team are off doing their own thing. I guess they're not keeping track of what's going on in the TV universe, but I do wish they would reference at least events or situation or characters. If they're not going to be in it, kind of reference something. It would be nice, but I understand why.
Yeah, because I was thinking about that, and I was like, okay, so apparently they're not going to use Daredevil. I mean, we tried the movie, did not work.
Yeah.
So, TV show, right? Mm-hmm. Nobody really knows who Jessica Jones is. Nobody knows who Luke Cage is. Nobody knows who or what the Inhumans are. Nobody...
That series totally flopped.
Yeah.
It was awful.
That's why I bring it up. So, there is no connection between those shows and the MCEU.
Or just the MCU. There's
MCU.
no E.
Sorry.
Only DC has the E.
Yeah. MCU. There's no connection.
The TV shows make connections to the movies, but the movies don't make references and connections to the TV shows.
Too.
Yeah.
But I was thinking because they had they weren't going to make an Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. TV show, right? And they weren't going to make they weren't going to make an Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. movie.
Yeah.
And they weren't going to make a what's the one with the Steve Rogers love interest?
Oh, Peggy Carter. Mm.
Yeah, Peggy Carter.
That was a good series.
What show was she in?
Agent Carter.
Yeah, Agent Carter. So we're not going to do the Agent Carter movie. So we'll make TV shows out of it? Is that sort of their idea?
Yeah, and maybe just wanted to put that Marvel brand on network TV too, and those are some of the better properties to do it with. You're right, they wouldn't make movies out of them, but TV was a good spot to tell more stories with those characters. So.
And speaking of TV, I'm getting so excited, Tim, for the Star Wars live action
TV show. I know it should be. I mean, this Disney streaming service comes out in 2019, so hopefully it launches with the Star Wars TV show. I can't imagine it not. I mean, talk about a selling point to get people to subscribe to it. So
I'm there.
Yeah.
I'm there if they have that.
Yeah, I'll be there regardless because it's coming eventually. So yeah, I can't wait for that either. But Jordan continues saying, Batman Ninja is now out digitally, so I'm assuming you guys are waiting for the physical, or at least me, waiting for the physical copy. So I'll keep my thoughts spoiler free for now. I enjoyed the film a lot. It's absolutely visually stunning. The story is pretty weird, at some points a little too weird for my taste, but for the most part I went with it because I appreciated the uniqueness of it. They do some really cool stuff with the Joker and Harley that I was very impressed with. While it's not on the level of what we got in Gotham by Gaslight, there were some great Batcat moments in the film that I loved. There are some excellent voice performances in the film, with the two standouts for me being actors reprising their roles from previous DC media, Grey Griffin as Catwoman and Tom Kenny as the Penguin. There are some pretty cool nods to other DC media and Batman Ninja as well, so keep an eye/ear out for them. Hope you enjoy it. I sure did. Well, you've heard Dane's thoughts on Batman Ninja earlier, so just have to wait a little bit for mine. Like I said, hopefully I'll have it for the next episode.
Yeah, and I'd probably agree with Jordan. It's really out there. It's visually stunning. Story, like I said, is pretty weird and weak. So, yeah, I definitely agree with you, Jordan.
And as always, Jordan has a couple of questions to wrap up his email. And his first one is, what are your top 5 live-action Batman fight scenes? For me, it's number 5, the Batman v Superman battle in Batman vs. Superman. And number 4, the Martha rescue in Batman v Superman. Number 3, the first Batman vs. Bane fight in The Dark Knight Rises. Number 2, the second Batman vs. Bane fight in The Dark Knight Rises. And number 1, Batman and Catwoman fighting together on the rooftop in The Dark Knight Rises. Yeah, this is a good question, Jordan. And number 1 for me is going to be the Batman warehouse fight in BVS. That was the Batman action sequence I was waiting for, and it really delivered. I mean, it looked cool in the trailers, but the fact that it was Batman trying to save Martha Kent, I think, added to how cool it was as well. So that's my number 1. Number 2, I'm going to go Batman versus Bane from The Dark Knight Rises. Said so many times on this podcast how I like that fight. Now it lived up to my expectations, and seeing Bane break Batman's back in live action was a moment to behold in the theater for the first time. The number 3, I'm going to go with the Axis Chemical fight in Batman 89. That's my favorite action sequence in Batman 89, and really one of the first true live action Batman scenes or Batman action sequences we've gotten in a live action film, because when he faced the two muggers on the rooftop, it was cool, but this is a short little skirmish, but seeing Batman take out several of Jack Napier's men throughout the chemical factory was really cool. It's a lot of cool memories of seeing that for the first time. The number 4, I'm going to go with the alley fight in Batman 89. I like how Batman pretends he's dead, gets up, takes out a few thugs, but my favorite is when that guy with the knives and the swords comes out and he's just doing all these fancy moves, and Batman's blocking it with his arm, with his hands and his legs, and it was a cool choreography. And then he just takes him out pretty easily. Then he does that finger motion of calling Bob to come face him. Then Bob throws a knife and runs away. So I always like that action sequence as well. And then number 5, I'll probably go with the Batman versus Superman fight in BVS. The fight didn't quite live up to my expectations, but at the same time, there was still some cool stuff. And just seeing Batman and Superman go at it in live action for the first time still was a cool thing to see. So I still put it in my top 5. So that would be mine. How about you, Dave?
From least favorite to
okay.
Favorite, my least favorite is the Batman versus Superman warehouse fight. Just the Batman part. Mm-hmm. 4 would probably be the end fight in 89 with the Joker. Mm-hmm. 3 would be because I just saw it for some reason. Because the Ninja Turtles movie kind of rips it off.
Which one?
The Doc fight, because it's the same exact introduction that they used in the Ninja Turtles 2014 movie. 2, it's the again the Ninja Turtles kind of ripped it off out of the shadows. not really a fight scene, more of a driving scene, is the truck, I guess, Harvey sort of transportation fight in Dark Knight. Number one is the building fight in Dark Knight.
Yeah, good choices. I mean, there's a lot to choose from in there. I easily could have taken on Lenny's list too. The dogfight ones. Now I'm starting to think I should probably have that in my top 5 because that was a great introduction to Batman.
Yeah.
So, and his second question is, how would you rank the DC animated short films over the years? For me, it's number 8, the Jonah Hex from the DC Showcase. Number 7, Superman Shazam. Number 6, Nightwing and Robin. Number 5, Batman Strange Days. Number 4, DC Showcase The Spectre. Number 3, The Green Arrow. And number 1, the DC Showcase Catwoman Chase Me. Yeah, for me, I actually forgot about that Nightwing and Robin one until you mentioned it, Jordan. I know there's a little, like a minute and a half clip of them fighting Scarecrow and his goons, and the Talon was looking out connected to the Batman versus Robin animated movie. Excuse me. But I forgot about that one until you mentioned it, so I had to rewatch it. Oh, yeah, that's what that one was about. But my list would go, I guess I'll start from the bottom this time. Number 8, Nightwing and Robin, the one just mentioned. It was pretty short, nothing too much to it, in my opinion. Number 7, the Jonah Hex. Number 6, the Spectre. Number 5, Catwoman. Number 4, Batman Strange Days. Number 3, the Green Arrow. I think Green Arrow is the best out of those short DC Showcase ones. And number 2, I'm going to go with the Batman Beyond short that Darwin Cook did for the 75th anniversary. That one was really good. See Batman and Terry fighting these robot versions of Batman, all these different incarnations of Batman over the years was really cool. But number 1 is the Superman and Shazam, because that was a lengthier animated short, and it was really cool seeing Superman and Shazam team up to fight Black Adam. So that would be my number 1. I don't know, have you seen too many of the shorts that DC's put out over the years?
I have seen 0, Tim, but I do want to mention, and this is probably my favorite short film. I guess you can kind of call it a short film, Batman short film. It's the part before The Killing Joke.
Dane, you had to bring that back.
One an episode, Tim. I'm trying.
Yeah, if that was a separate short, we all would have been better off. That wasn't part of The Killing Joke. But that's it for Jordan's email. He closes it by saying, as of my writing this, it's Superhero Day. So belated Superhero Day to you guys. Well, same to you, Jordan. And as always, thanks for the email and the questions. And with that, we can go ahead and get into the comic book reviews. And for this issue, or for this episode, it's going to be issues of Detective Comics number 980 and Batman number 47. And as always, going to go into spoilers as I review these episodes. If you haven't read the books yet, you might want to hold off, come back and read them, or come back after you read them and then hear what I thought of these books of Batman 47 and Detectives 980. And for our rating scale, Dane, what do you think it should be? You've got a lot of stuff to choose from on this one.
Yeah, a lot of stuff.
I was thinking it could be awkward dance moves that Tim makes while walking to the reception area in Kyle's wedding.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it.
Okay. Sadly, yes, it is.
You know, if that was me, I would just walk out. I just would have walked out of there, like just walked out to the dance floor, just walked past.
But would that be more embarrassing though, because you're standing on that doing anything?
Oh yeah, plus two, and you know, I mean, I guess Kyle and his wife want you to do that's what they want you to do. So. Mm. You know, you don't want to be disrespectful. Yeah, you don't want to be disrespectful.
So, for starting off with Batman, or I'll change that. I actually go to Detective number 980 and issue 979. Since we didn't review it, since we didn't do an episode 2 weeks ago. That one was mainly just Tim trying to fight the OMAC program that was taking over, but he couldn't, and he turns into like this OMAC Batman version. So, this issue picks up after that, where a bunch of different OMACs, they're attacking the Gotham City police station with Tim as the OMAC Batman, taking them down. Batwoman comes to stop them, and then they kind of start having this I can't even say the word, philosophical conversation about their views and, you know, how they're going about doing things and who's really the hero and villain. And then as they're facing off each other, Batman, spoiler, and Orphan are infiltrating, you know, the Belfry where Ulysses is at controlling the OMAC and Tim. So they're there to stop him. And probably the best part about this issue, as they're all doing their job to try to stop him, is kind of mainly towards the end, where Batman's facing off against Azrael and Batwing because they got infected with OMAC as well. But kind of the stuff that Tim makes Batwoman see, and then what Ulysses makes Stephanie Brown and Cassandra Cain see, because it harkens back to some classic DC stuff where, in the case of Spoiler and Orphan, to try to stop them from shutting down his program in the OMAC satellite, he shows them, the stolen timeline that they never got to experience by showing them in their Batgirl costumes. So we get to see Stephanie Brown in her Batgirl costume and Cassandra Cain in her amazing, and I think still the best Batgirl costume. And they're just shocked to see themselves that way, because never in a million years will they thought where they're at now they'd be able to take on the mantle of Batgirl. And I really like Cassandra Cain's reaction when she sees it, like just how amazed and like pretty much happy she is that there's a version of her out there that gets to wear the bat symbol, and just how much that symbol means to her, and the fact that she gets to wear that and wear the mantle of Batgirl means so much to her. So it was great to see their reactions. And then Tim is making, or OMAC Tim I should call him, is making Kate see the alternate future where she ruins everything by taking the colony and into the Batcave and killing Bruce Wayne. And Tim trying to show her the future and why she needs to die and all that. So I don't believe we really get to see the outcome of that conversation. We mainly, at the end of the issue, focus on what Cassandra Cain and Stephanie Brown react to seeing themselves as Batgirl. And it was a great reaction, as Ulysses thinks is that this is going to break them and have them stop from completing their mission. And Stephanie Brown just ends up laughing. And that's cool. Without the issues, we're seeing old panels of like Stephanie as Robin before she was Batgirl, and Cassandra Cain training with Barbara as Oracle. So just great look back into stuff in DC history that's slowly being brought back with Rebirth and the stuff that made these characters great. So Stephanie Brown just starts laughing when Ulysses goes, "You'll be broken to see that you'll just be second-rate heroes and never measure up to these versions of yourselves." And Stephanie Brown just goes, I'm doing a lot more than laughing. I'm realizing that, you wanted to hurt us by showing this, but like, actually you just made us more determined to stop you, because there's somewhere out there we were good enough to become Batgirl. And, it doesn't matter what timeline or what universe that's in. It just means we're freaking amazing. That's her exact words. It's just going to use that to take down Ulysses. So I did like that reaction, and, getting to have themselves see what they were in past DC continuity. So that was a standout in this issue. And it also had a great cover where you got Batman, Orphan, and Spoiler on the building, but behind them you see their silhouettes. For Orphan and Spoiler, you see their silhouettes of their Batgirl costume, which was cool. So I'm going to give this issue 3.5 out of 5 awkward dance moves that I had to make while going down the aisle to Kyle's reception at his wedding. So I had to do a lot of embarrassing moves for this issue. And then Batman number 47. Again, I didn't get to review Batman 46 on our last, or since we didn't record an episode 2 weeks ago, but that one is mainly Booster Gold screwing things up more, where he tries to find Catwoman in this alternate timeline to try to get Bruce to see and change things and have him go back in time, but it just makes things worse. Like, Catwoman is just almost like a real feral cat in that issue, where he brings her to Bruce at Wayne Manor and his parents are there, and she ends up killing or slicing Thomas Wayne's neck. And then the Dick Grayson Batman, this gun-toting Batman, just shoots Catwoman, shoots Martha Wayne. This ends up becoming a bloodbath, and Booster Gold just makes things worse. So Bruce ended up losing his parents in issue 46. So in issue 47, it begins 1 year later, where we see Skeets being repaired on a table, and he's back online. Then we see Bruce just taking out his frustration by going to a targeting range, shooting out these targets of Batman and Catwoman, since he hates them so much for, they're the ones who killed his parents now in this timeline, and Booster Gold's to blame. And he's being held prisoner in the Batcave by Batman, being chained up. He has long hair and a big beard, but Bruce is going to have his own plan to fix things. Now that Skeets is back in operation, he needs to get Booster Gold and Skeets to have him go back in time to a year ago to stop Booster Gold from bringing Catwoman to kill his parents. So that's his plan. But once Booster Gold hears this, he starts formulating his own plan to fix things from from him even going back to stopping the original Wayne murders. So he tells Bruce, you can't give me a specific date and time. You have to actually tell me an event that happened in that timeline for me to go back. Like, so you have to tell me like where to take us. So he goes, okay, take me like 10 minutes before my parents were killed. And Bruce says, oh, that's perfect. So Skeets, take us to 10 minutes before Bruce Wayne's parents were killed. And he gives them a wink, like, you know what I'm talking about. Not this Bruce Wayne's parents, but our Bruce Wayne's parents, like the time where they were killed, the normal one. And so he goes like, why do you just wink? What are you up to? And then Bruce is like, he pretty much had it with Booster Gold. He knows he's up to something. And so Bruce is just telling Skeet, like, hurry up. Let's go to when Bruce's parents were killed. And before this version of Bruce is able to shoot Booster Gold in the head, we see the bang on the panel, but then we get transported back to Bruce with his parents at the theater. So Booster's plan worked around the rooftop 10 minutes before the actual Wayne murders happens. And we get the time paradoxes and loops where the other Booster Golds who originally went back to stop the Wayne murders is encountering the current Booster Gold. So there's two Booster Golds here. One, they got the one Booster Gold is trying to stop the other Booster Gold from stopping the Wayne murders. It's complicated time travel stuff, but stuff comic fans and sci-fi fans, I'm sure, are used to. So wasn't too much of a confusing thing, but going through the normal tropes of time travel stuff. So both boosters end up stopping the parallel version of Bruce Wayne from killing each other. And while they do that, they're occupied fighting that Bruce Wayne. Bruce's parents get killed in the alley like normal. So things were able to go back to normal. But it was did like how it was laid out, made for a powerful moment where as Bruce's parents are going to get killed by Joe Chill, we see this version of Bruce Wayne just hearing the gunshots go off, and he just goes, no, as he kind of knows what that means. And he just, screams out for his mother and father as the young Bruce Wayne is doing the same as he's looking at their bodies in the alley. But the older Bruce Wayne just can't take it anymore. He lost his parents again, and he's going to kill himself. He puts the gun to his head. And the next panel we see is just a one page of Booster Gold visor with this alternate Bruce Wayne shooting himself in his head before, he gets erased out of existence, because they change things back to normal. And that's where the issue ends, with Booster telling the normal Batman and Catwoman everything that he did for his gift, and just saying how there's this blood stain on his goggles that he just can't seem to get off. But he's going, you guys understand, you're heroes, your family, but I can't. Like, I thought I could be like you and do this and get you a gift. But then he makes an example of how he has to do something. He has to clean, going back, like clean it. At least I took it as him, if I don't clean it, everything will look wrong. Kind of like what he did in the alternate timeline. He's trying to clean his goggles because it doesn't look right. And that's what he had to do and fix that timeline that he messed up on. And he goes like, you guys see it too, right? But Bruce and Selina don't say anything. They're just speechless throughout his whole confession. So that's where the issue ends. So this whole story arc, The Gift, I didn't really quite enjoy it. It wasn't horrible, but it wasn't great. I don't think too necessary, because I just really think Booster Gold acted out of character with thinking this was a good idea to do and get them this gift for Bruce to experience that life. But like I said this before, the first story, or the first part of this story arc, where reading an adventure he just had with Superman, how much he was saying you can't change the time like this, and really stressing that to Superman when he tried to prevent Krypton from being, or not prevent it from being destroyed, but to see how Jor-El survived and changing certain things. But he just kept stressing to Superman, you can't do that. But he did something far more worse after he was preaching to Superman. So I just felt him to be really hypocritical in this story arc, and just doing this thing he thought as a gift, thinking that heroes doing it because thinking he'd be like, heroes would understand this, and he was a hero too. So I just didn't quite buy into his motivations for doing all this and just making things so much worse. So I'm going to give this issue 2.5 out of awkward dance moves that I had to make walking down the aisle at Kyle's wedding. So not too many for this issue. So I'm looking forward to the next arc to get started, what has to do with the Joker. So can't wait to see how he's going to view Batman and Catwoman's wedding, because there is that DC like preview that came out, I think, on Free Comic Book Day. That tease of what it's going to be like with Joker waiting for his invitation was pretty dark and creepy. So if it's anything like that, I think could be in for a pretty cool arc with Joker having to deal with the fact that Batman's getting married. So I'm looking forward to that. Just wasn't a big fan of this Booster Gold arc. But with that, that's going to do it for the comic book reviews and for the episode. It was a long one, but we had a lot to catch up on, and it made for some fun discussion. So, as always, I guess I'll throw it to you, Dane, for the outro.
Okay, go over to the BatmanUniverse.net, Facebook.com/BatmanUniverse, Twitter handles @BatmanUniverse. This show's Twitter handle is @BatFans27. Tim's Twitter handle is @TimG311. And my Twitter handle is @DaneSaysBanana. You can email the show at batfanswithoutpants@gmail.com. And yeah, that's it, right?
Yeah, we got it covered.
Okay. So like we say at the end of every single episode, Tim,
we love each and every one of you with all of our bat, turtles, and cobra hearts.
Cobra hearts. See you guys next time.
See you next time, everybody.